their incredible home winning streak against the New England Patriots? Or will Tony Eason lead the Patriots to their 9th win in 10 games and their first Orange Bowl victory in 18 tries? Let's talk football tonight on Monday Night Matchup.
Monday Night Matchup is brought to you by Mazda, maker of the new generation RX-7, the 626, 323, and B2000 trucks. The more you look, the more you like Mazda value.
Hello once again, everybody, and welcome to Week 15 of Monday Night Matchup. I'm Chris Berman, and tonight we feel we have an outstanding game for you once again, an AFC East must game, the New England Patriots at the Miami Dolphins. And with me, as always, Ali Sherman and Steve Sable. Dan Marino sat contract squabble, and Steve, frankly, he looked rusty for much of the early part of the season, but he's not rusty anymore.
Well, Chris, he's thrown 8 touchdown passes in the last 2 weeks, and he seems to be approaching the form that made him the terror of the NFL last season. But tonight, he'll be matched up against a defense that's excellent against the run, but even more important, it's better against the pass. In fact, the Patriots have allowed only 5 touchdown passes in the last 9 games, and Ali, only one of those touchdown passes was longer than 18 yards.
Steve, be careful with those numbers now. Statistics. 9 ball games. Of those 5, 2 against Indianapolis, 2 against Buffalo, 1 against Tampa Bay, no offenses, no quarterbacks. So I don't know about those 5 pass touchdowns, And again, one more look. Tonight, I think the game depends more on the defenses. Not as much that they're dominating or overwhelming defenses, but which defense is going to play up to a little better level to keep the points down. There's no doubt about it. These 2 defenses will be scored upon by 2 teams with 2 real good offenses. And this tonight is the big question. Which team will minimize those points? And I think that's going to be the deciding factor, Chris.
I tell you what's always been a factor in this series, Ali, especially when they're in South Florida: geography. We'll look at that when Monday Night Matchup continues. Orange Bowl, and the losses have come in all shapes and sizes. In 1972, you knew the Patriots weren't going to stand in the way of the Dolphins' undefeated season. They lost 52-0. I could go on and on, but why don't you take a look yourself? The Orange Bowl seems like a nice enough place to visit, and in 1966, when the then Boston Patriots made their first trip to Miami, number 35, Jim Nance, led the Pats to a 20-14 victory over the Dolphins. But since that day 17 years ago, the Patriots have failed to win a single game within Miami's city limits.
17 years. Think of it, Chris. Not a single member of Menudo has ever seen the Patriots beat the Dolphins in the Orange Bowl.
Steve, this swoon over Miami has seen New England lose in every conceivable manner.
Swing out to Jensen. He's going to throw a pass upfield, and it is caught for a touchdown.
Besides trick plays, the Pats have hurt themselves, too. In 1976, this apparent game-tying touchdown from Steve Grogan to Marlon Briscoe was wiped out by a penalty. In 1978, New England coach Chuck Fairbanks bailed out right before the game, and assistants Ron Earhart and Hank Bulla hastily tried to put the pieces together. But that was like rearranging the deck chairs on the Titanic, as the Dolphins pasted the Pats 23-3. Then in 1980, the 2 teams were battling for the division title, but New England was stopped 3 times inside the Miami 5 without a point. And a bizarre touchdown pass from David Woodley to Nat Moore brought on yet another inevitable Patriot defeat. Napoleon had his Waterloo, Hitler the Russian front, and the Patriots are cursed by the Orange Bowl, where the Dolphins always seem to have the last laugh.
The history is all well and good and entertaining, but it's fictional to these 2 teams. These guys are interested in one another, and they're new people, and they've got 2 good offenses. You take Tony Eason of New England. He had a little rest because of an injury this year. That little pause, that refreshers did him a lot of good. He got much better vision and an understanding of the pass game that led to consistency. Good pass offense. Dan Marino has learned you just can't go up there with the deep one to Duper and Clayton to win a ball game. 49ers in the Super Bowl showed him that. He's learned to spray that ball around, and he hits his backs and his tight ends in addition to Duper and Clayton, and he brought that game down. Tonight, there's a tough matchup, Steve. The linebackers of New England have got to be cautious of other receivers besides that Duper and Clayton.
Allie, let's not forget Mark Duper. Since his return, the Dolphins have won 5 consecutive games. And when the Patriots beat the Dolphins earlier this year, Duper didn't play. But tonight, Marino will have both his long-distance receivers in the game, Duper and Mark Clayton. And I think a key man in the Patriots' defense will be free safety Fred Marion. It's his job to play deep center field and not let anyone get behind him. He leads the AFC in interceptions, and I think his response to the pressure of Marino's long passing game will be an important matchup tonight, Chris.
Steve, you're right. Marion and everybody else on the New England defense will be severely tested by Marino and the Miami offense. We'll take a look at that matchup when Monday night matchup continues.
With just 3 men rushing. Here, against Seattle, you see the Patriots in their basic 3-4 defense, with 3 defensive linemen in down positions and 4 linebackers. On the outside, Don Blackman and Andre Tippett, and on the inside, Larry McGrew and Steve Nelson. At the snap of the ball, all 4 linebackers, recognizing that the offensive call is pass, will react by dropping into pass coverage. This leaves New England with a 3-man pass rush, and the Patriots have not shown consistent ability to pressure the quarterback with only 3 men rushing. Here, the front 3 gets very little penetration, and Seattle's Dave Craig is secure in that pass pocket with maximum time to find the hole in the Patriots secondary. Result, Craig, comfortable in the pocket, hits Steve Largent in the open area for a big gain. Tonight, the maximum way for Miami to match up against the Patriots is to throw on first down, when New England may use a greater percentage of its basic 3-4. With 3 down linemen, as you see here, the Patriots are not in their most effective pass defense alignment and pass pressure. At the snap, Marino drops straight back to pass. Patriot linebackers Nelson, number 57, and Johnny Rembert, number 52, react by moving into coverage positions. With only a 3-man rush pressuring him, Marino is secure and relaxed in the pocket, with time to nail Mark Clayton, who had beaten Patriot cornerback Ronnie Lippett on a deep sideline pattern. You've just seen the Patriots have trouble exerting pressure on a passer with their 3-man line. They've got another defense, a 4-man line, and I believe they should use it more, and you may well see it more tonight. This is the way they get into it. They take Andre Tippett, their left linebacker, and make him the left defensive end. They take their left defensive end, Veras, and move him over as a right defensive end. And then they take Adams, their end, and put him in there to tackle spot. Along with that, they've got 4 men up here ready to rush that passer, more pressure. They remove 2 inside linebackers, and they add more defensive backs, and that gives them this kind of a setup. What you see here is a front 4 that can go pressure and hurry that passer. That's the most important part, and it'll be a big matchup here with Tippett against Ronnie Lee. The rest of the defense covers the field. They've given up, as you see, a short, open pass in here to Marino. However, this is the best way they can go to hurry that Marino and confuse his own people. Let's take a look at it. Here against Miami, you see the Patriots in their maximum pass rush defensive alignment. Remember, Andre Tippett, number 56, the left outside linebacker in New England's basic 3-4, becomes the left defensive end in this 4-man front. From this alignment, the Patriots can best pressure the quarterback, either with a straight 4-man rush or with a combination of linebacker blitz. At the snap, defensive end Garen Veras, number 60, takes an outside rush, while linebacker Don Blackman, number 55, on a slight delay, will blitz to the inside. Miami guard Roy Foster, number 61, does not respond to Blackman's delay tactic and fails to block him. The confusion in blocking caused by the delayed blitz gives Blackman a clear path to Marino, forcing him out of the pass pocket to the side of Tippett, whose excellent penetration puts him in position to help with that sack. One way for Miami to match up against the Patriots' pass rush pressure is to have Marino roll out of the pass pocket by design. This change of pace and direction pressures a defense because their pass rush surge is geared toward a stationary Marino in the pocket. Watch guard Roy Foster, number 61, on this play against the Patriots. At the snap, Foster, along with Marino, sets up like a straight drop-back pass. This influences the defense to react accordingly. But Foster will then pull out to his left, leading Marino on a design rollout that pressures and hurts a surprised and unprepared Patriots defense. The Dolphins are excellent at picking up the blitz, and tonight, to match blitzers Tippett and Blackman, Miami's blocking execution must be at its maximum, just as it is here against the Steelers. Pittsburgh linebackers Mike Merriweather, number 57, and Robin Cole, number 56, will blitz against Marino in the shotgun, looking to confuse Miami's pass blockers. Tackle John Giesler, number 79, picks up Cole, while back Tony Nathan picks up Merriweather on the inside. Marino, secure and comfortable in the pocket, throws deep for Duper, double D, and a big 6 goes on the board. Tonight, it's a matchup of Marino and Miami's well-designed pass offense against a Patriot pass rush that has mixed alignments and tactics effectively.
I think Andre Tippett will need help tonight from New England's two defensive ends, Julius Adams, who at 37 is the oldest defensive lineman in the NFL, and Garen Veras, who's a rookie. If the Dolphins concentrate on blocking Tippett, which they should because he's the leading sacker on the team, the responsibility of pressuring Marino will fall on Adams and Veras, and they'll have to win their matchup against the Dolphins' offensive line, Allie.
Pass pressure starts with the line making better defensive halfbacks and safeties, right? Okay, the maximum way to play against the Dolphins tonight, I think the Patriots must use a four-man rush and play every down like it's a passing down against Marino. If they do that, they can keep constant pressure, mix their alignments and their blitzes up. The Bears, they're going to do better than the Bears tonight. You know why? The Bears were too consistent with a lot of blitzing. Their rhythm gave Marino his passing rhythm, and he took him down the pike with it. Tonight, I'm not saying, by the way, that New England has got a better defense than the Bears. The Bears are a better unit. However, their style is tougher against Marino, and they're going to give him an awful lot of trouble.
Well, the Patriots offense could very easily give the Miami defense an awful lot of trouble. We'll take a look at what happens when the ball changes hands, when Monday Night Matchup continues. Up and down the field on offense, they're like the percussion section of the band. They do it with crashing cymbals and pounding drums. Steve, when the Patriots move the ball on offense, they're like the string section. They're in tune, but never with pizzazz.
Well, Chris, the Patriots are a team of balance rather than brilliance. And unlike the Dolphins, their quarterback is not a child prodigy, but rather an above-average student who's learning that playing pro quarterback is not as easy as it first seemed. Last season, only Dan Marino and Joe Montana had a higher quarterback rating than New England's Tony Eason, number 11. He completed over 60% of his passes, and 3 times he threw for over 300 yards. One of those games was against the Miami Dolphins. With 23 touchdown passes and only 8 interceptions, Eason finished the 1984 season on an upswing. But when the 1985 season began, things took a downward turn. The word around the league was that Eason couldn't handle a blitz, and that just a hint of a strong pass rush would send him into a Paul Revere-like exit out of the pocket. The Patriots lost 3 of their first 5 games. Then Eason was injured and replaced by Steve Grogan. Should the Dolphins go with a blitzing attack tonight, look for outside linebacker Hugh Green, number 55, to pressure Eason because he's an outstanding pass rusher. 2 weeks ago, Eason returned to the lineup and is now facing the blitz with more poise and self-assurance. Maybe it's maturity, or maybe it's just better blocking. Whatever the reason, since he's returned to the lineup, Eason has been standing his ground and throwing touchdowns. No longer fidgety and indecisive, Eason's style has suddenly been calm and cool. Once he reacted too quickly to pressure and left the pocket too soon. Now, he leaves only when he is forced out, and his ability to salvage a play with his legs has produced some big plays for the Patriots. Tony Eason is only a part of New England's balanced offense. After settling on a 2-back offense of Tony Collins and Craig James, number 32, the Patriots have developed consistency. James is 3rd in the AFC in rushing with over 1,000 yards. And both Patriots runners are excellent blockers who can handle a corner linebacker one-on-one. Tony Collins, number 33, hasn't rushed for as many yards as Craig James, but he's cleared the path by taking out the containment of corner linebackers. New England's running game revolves around this basic but important play. The last time they played the Dolphins, corner linebacker Bob Brodzinski, number 59, was under constant attack by the Patriots runners. Throughout the day, Tony Collins, number 33, tied up Brodzinski, allowing Craig James to average over 5 yards a carry and gain 119 yards. Tonight, the Patriots will need another strong running performance. To do this, they'll need to control the corner linebacker. So watch Tony Collins, because his block will spring Craig James, allowing James to cut around or up inside and gain yardage. This play produced the longest touchdown run in the NFL this season, a 65-yarder against the Packers. And tonight, the Patriots hope that by blocking the corner linebacker, they can get similar results against the Dolphins. Joe Louis once said, in a boxing ring, you can run, but you can't hide. Now, in pro football, if you can run, you don't have to hide, as the Patriots proved when they beat the Dolphins earlier this year. They won the game in the fourth quarter with a 10-play scoring march, and 9 of those 10 plays were runs. Tonight, if the Patriots can continue to provide running room for Craig James, then the pressure will not be as great on Tony Eason, and Allie, he can then be more selective with his passing game.
Boy, any team that comes from behind with a running game and wins, they deserve to win, and they've got good offense. I think it's going to be tougher tonight against Miami. Mike Charles, their nose guard, is playing outstanding ball, and he's going against Morris, the center, on the New England Ball Club. Now, if the rest of the Miami team plays that aggressive ball they've been playing in the last few weeks, they may minimize the running, but don't feel badly for New England. They've got 2 great weapons in Fryer and Morgan as receivers, and they're going to be a tough matchup for 2 average cornerbacks, Langford and Judson.
We're going to be back with the final word, or, knowing this bunch, 3, when Monday Night Matchup continues. It's a big late-season game in the Orange Bowl, a situation in which the Miami Dolphins have come through with flying colors time and time again. It's a situation where the New England Patriots traditionally have wilted by this point, but, Steve, this year things seem different.
Chris, I think this game has enormous emotional significance for the New England Patriots because a victory in the Orange Bowl, after 17 years of defeat, would be the official confirmation that this Patriot team is different from all others and has championship character, not just championship pretensions. And since football is still a game of emotion, as well as strategy and tactics, Allie, I think the Patriots will out-hit the Dolphins and win.
And the toughest hitter on the Patriots is Tippett, and he's going to have a wall with right offensive tackle Ronnie Lee. Watch it out there. That's a tough matchup. The toughest matchup, however, for New England are Duper and Clayton going against Claiborne and Lippett, the cornerbacks. Lippett being the weaker of the 2, and you may see the ball throwing in his direction a lot more. Now, regardless of all of this, I think that Marino's maturity and moving the ball around and his patience to go to other receivers is going to handle that New England defense. And the emotion, New England should have and will have emotion. They're a terrific ball club, but the Miami Dolphins have another emotion. That's green, dollars, and they've been there, and I picked them tonight, 31-20.
Well, we've covered both bases, which we probably should have done last week. This is the second-best New England Patriots team, topped only by the 76 team. But you know what? That 76 team didn't win in the Orange Bowl either. The game's going to be close, could go to overtime. I see the Dolphins winning 24-21. Thanks for watching this edition of Monday Night Matchup. For Ali Sherman and Steve Sable, I'm Chris Berman. See you next week.
Monday Night Matchup was brought to you by Mazda, maker of the new generation RX-7, the 626, 323, and B2000 trucks. The more you look, the more you like Mazda value.
Recognized around the world as the leader in sports television, ABC Sports celebrating its 25th anniversary.
The Dolphins and the New England Patriots meet in a key AFC East matchup. The standings for New England on the line tonight. With a win, they will take their first divisional title since 1978. And for the Dolphins, a win tonight and a win next week against Buffalo, and they are assured of the AFC East title. The Orange Bowl here in Miami is alive with anticipation. Right now, let's take a look at some of tonight's key personnel. The Patriots tonight are pinning their hopes for a divisional title on the strong arm of Tony Eason. With fine running from Craig James and Tony Collins, Eason can look deep to a pair of wide receivers who can burn you from any spot on the field. There's Irving Fryer. And then there's this veteran, Stanley Morgan. Morgan, who has been making the big catch for nearly a decade for the Patriots. Eason and the Dolphins' Dan Marino arrived together on the NFL scene 3 years ago. And while Eason has had great moments, Marino is turning the NFL record book into his own personal biography. And when you talk speed on the outside, Marino's two marks, Clayton and Duper, are the best in the business. Tonight, live from the Orange Bowl in Miami, the key game in the wild race for the AFC East, the New England Patriots and the Miami Dolphins.
ABC Sports Exclusive is brought to you by Light Beer from Miller. Everything you've always wanted in a beer and less. By Chevrolet, who invite you to live the style, performance, and fun of Chevrolet in '86. By Handycam, the astonishingly simple new Sony Handycam. All the excitement of video movies now in the palm of your hand. And by IBM.
Everyone, I'm Frank Gifford, and along with my colleagues O.J. Simpson and Joe Namath and all of our guys behind our ABC scene, we are delighted you are with us tonight. We think we could have a real stunner for you. Two football teams within the same division. The AFC East, they have been battling all season long. They are two hot football teams. The New England Patriots, with a win tonight, can clinch this division, and they have won 8 of their last 9 games. They lost the other game in overtime to the Jets. Meanwhile, the Miami Dolphins, since they were defeated November the 3rd by this New England team, they have won 5 in a row. But there is something called a jinx over New England. That little black cloud, remember the little character in Little Abner? Every time the New England Patriots come to the Orange Bowl, they go away with a loss. The last time they won here was in 1966. They have lost 17 consecutive games here in the Orange Bowl. The players now say it's not a jinx. Well, we don't know about that. A man who can tell us a little bit more about what New England's going to have to do tonight to defeat Miami, Joe Namath. Joe?
Thank you, Frank. Well, Raymond Berry, the coach of the New England Patriots, certainly doesn't put much stock in the jinx. He says his 17-game jinx is not wearing a jersey out there tonight. His football team, the Patriots, are playing better football at this stage than they have all season long. They're healthier at this stage than they have been the entire season. The question in my mind is, will Tony Eason be able to handle the pressure? Now, he's only in his 3rd year. This is by far the most pressure-packed game he's been confronted with. People say, well, he's a California kid. He'll be cool. Well, we'll find out tonight. The defense of the Patriots is a very good one. They're 2nd ranked in the entire AFC, but they will have their hands full with Marino and the likes of the Marx brothers. Now, here's the juice to tune us in on the Dolphins.
Well, Joe, you said Marino. When you talk about Miami, you start with Marino, 27 touchdowns, near 4,000 yards, and Don Shula says just now at the top of his game. Now, his 2 worst games have been against New England. One was the first game they played this year, but Mark Duper did not play. They're a different team with Duper. They're 5-0 since his return. Defensively, what Miami must do is keep New England from running the football. They don't want to get in a shootout. New England wants to control the ball, so Miami is going to have to stop them from running the ball. The key there is going to be their nose tackle, Mike Charles. Their 2 inside linebackers, Jackie Shipp and Jay Brophy. When they lost to New England earlier in this year, New England went 80 yards on 2 80-yard drives late in the game, and most of the runs were run right up the middle, so those guys must perform well if Miami is going to win here tonight. In any event, first place is on the line, so it should be one well of a football game.
And the Orange Bowl is sold out, of course. It has been raining here this evening. We're looking at the captains on the field for the Patriots and the Miami Dolphins. Our referee tonight is Dick Jorgensen. Miami, as you can see, will receive here the opening kickoff. Our stadium announcer, we understand, is going to announce the national anthem and ask a very enthusiastic stadium crowd if they will rise and sing the national anthem as we look at head coach Don Shula, now in his 23rd year as a head coach.
Crash in Newfoundland. We ask that you
and on his opposite side of the field, Ray Berry in his second full year, the Hall of Famer. Tonight's national anthem dedicated to the victims of that tragic Newfoundland crash, victims and their family. The Miami Dolphins have won the toss tonight. They will have first possession. When you talk about the Orange Bowl, you talk about tremendous pressure for any team that comes into the Orange Bowl. The Dolphins are 6-0 here this year. They have a remarkable home field edge. If you were with us a couple of weeks ago at the Bear game, you realize that the crowd becomes almost a 12th man for the Dolphins on many occasions. The Bears had to stop and wait, hoping for some kind of quiet where they could hear the signal snap and the call, the automatics, and they didn't get much of that. Deep for the Dolphins, Lorenzo Hampton is back there, the first-round draft pick this year out of Florida, averaging a little over 23 yards on the return. Joe Carter is back there with him. And Tony Franklin will kick off for New England. If New England wins tonight, I'll tell you once again, they are the AFC Eastern Division champions for the first time since 1978. A win for Miami, they still have to go on and defeat Buffalo to assure themselves an AFC East title. The stadium is rocking. Hampton will stay in the end zone. The field was covered prior to the game, although it did have a little bit of a mist after they had taken the tarp off. As we look at Dan Marino, truly remarkable career. He is ever so young to accomplish what he has accomplished. There are the people that work on the other end for Dan Marino. Mark Clayton needs 7 receptions this season, set yet another Dolphin record, break his own as a matter of fact. He needs 7 to break his record of 73 receptions set a year ago. Duper, of course, back and healthy. They are awesome when they're together. 1st and 10, Miami. Marino steps back into the pocket and tries to get the ball to Clayton. And you saw Clayton slip a little bit, and I believe the field is a little damp. It was misting on and off after they had taken the tarp. And early we saw Davenport in the end zone slip. It'll be mostly a 3-4. Garin Barris, the defensive left end, the rookie from Stanford, has replaced an injured Ken Sims, and he is playing very well there. The cornerbacks, Lippett and Claiborne, will be under tremendous pressure tonight. 2nd down and 10, Miami. Tony Nathan, the versatile one, is held for a 2-yard gain. It'll bring up a 3rd down and 8.
Well, this first drive is an important drive for both teams. Miami has been very successful on first drives. They've scored 6 times on their first drives. Only Washington Redskins have done better than that.
You know, the other thing, besides the rain factor, the dampness, Frank, I got to believe that this northeast wind we have, it's only about a 10-15 mile-an-hour wind, but it did affect that kickoff by Tony Franklin. Right now, the Dolphins are going into a slight breeze.
On November the 3rd, when New England defeated the Dolphins, Nat Moore was not available. Mark Duper was not available. They are both in the lineup now. On 3rd down and 7, a flag is down. Marino is back. And Marino fires. He's in and out of the hands of Nat Moore. But a flag is down at the line of scrimmage. Again, our referee tonight, Dick Jorgensen. The indication against New England. So it'll be a 5-yard penalty, yet it will be short of a first down. Don Shula, with his remarkable career, has taken teams to 5 Super Bowls, 4 of them here in Miami after the 71 season, after 72.
Offside, number 60, defense, still third down.
And, of course, Don Shula took the team following the 73 season to the Super Bowl. And, of course, he had the Baltimore Super Bowl. And that, of course, the loss, famous loss to the Jets right here in the Orange Bowl. 3rd down now and 3. Davenport is in the lineup for Miami. That's Nathan out of the backfield, and he is hit and held short of the first down. Good defensive play by the veteran Roland James. So New England's defense, rated 5th in the NFL into tonight, is able to stop the first offensive move by these Miami Dolphins. We'll look at it from a wide angle. Nathan, top of your screen, played well by James.
Yeah, they went his own defense that time, and Roland James' responsibility was to the outside of the shorter area. But I'm going to tell you, that was a good tackle. Not too many people are going to bring Tony Nathan down one-on-one out there.
Here's a dangerous return, man. That's Irving Fryer. He's taken 2 back this year for touchdowns, 177 yards, 185 yards. He has blazing speed. Now in his second year, he's healthy, and he is dangerous. Reggie Roby hangs one up to the 17-yard line. He's got a picket line. It was Roby who made the stop as Fryer got behind the picket line, got outside, had to cut back, but he gets out over the 45-yard line, and New England has great field position.
Well, they're a little lucky on that play because number 28, Jim Bowman, came downfield, and he definitely clipped the man to spring Irving.
Tony Eason, you had a glimpse of him a moment ago. Injured his shoulder a few weeks ago. Steve Grogan replaced him, but he's been back and has started the last 2 games and has defeated the Colts from the Lions. Passing for just under 57%, 9 touchdowns, 13 interceptions. He'll be fighting the crowd tonight. That's Tony Collins. Collins finally taken down by Bud Brown. Collins will get about 4 yards. And let's take a look at Irving Fryer. He had a great setup, a great picket line on the outside.
Now watch the bottom of your screen, 28 now. That's a definite clip. He hit number 52 right in his back.
And now to the outside, picking up blocks. And watch Reggie Roby. He'll make the stop. Irving Fryer, the wide receiver. There was a gain of 4 yards by Collins as New England is in Miami territory at the 49-yard line. It's 2nd down and 6. Craig James. And James up close to a first down for New England. James, of course, over 1,000 yards rushing this season, having just a superb year as we look at the defensive unit of the Dolphins. They're rated 24th in the NFL. They're 23rd against the run, 23rd against the pass. All they do is play good enough to win, as we saw a couple of weeks ago against the Chicago Bears. The old cliche in the National Football League is that they bend, but they don't break. Sometimes they even break, but the offense is capable of getting enough points to take care of it. 3rd down and 1. Mosi Tatupu is in there with Craig James as setbacks. Tatupu. And he has the first down at the 37-yard line. There's a flag down.
First down, New England Patriots.
No, it's not a flag. It's something that is blown out of the stands. So that first down will stand. It's inside the 37-yard line of Miami.
Well, quite often you hear that time of possession is overrated, but not in a game like this. New England does not want to get in a shootout with Miami. They want to control the ball on the ground, score, and keep Marino on the sideline.
And they have the people in Tony Collins and Craig James to do just that on 1st and 10.
that's one I'll never figure out. Why we're trying to why we're trying to run a draw play without having thrown a pass yet. You know, you're a running type team. Miami is forced to play the run against you, and they come out and run a draw. I can't figure that out.
You're right, Joe. A running team, you must play them for the run on first down, and on 1st and 10, I don't think Miami was expecting New England to throw a pass.
A pass, that's right. You want the defensive front to be charging when you run a draw play. They certainly weren't charging that time.
There was a loss of 1. It's 2nd down and 11. Collins. Hanna tries to get the block, but Collins couldn't cut back, and Glenn Blackwood is up there to make the stop at the line of scrimmage. Big John Hanna was out in front of the play. Collins took a look back inside, couldn't bring it back inside because of the pursuit.
And we asked Raymond Berry this morning in the meeting, which one of you guys called the plays out there? Of course, when Grogan was playing, he had the chance to call the plays, but Coach Berry said he's the one that sends the plays in right now. So don't think that Eason is making those foolish calls of running a draw without having thrown a pass yet.
Collins is a good receiver out of the backfield. Cedric Jones is in to join Stanley Morgan. Irving Fryer, Stephen Starring. 4 wide receivers for the Patriots. Kicked off. Bud Brown. Eason obviously was planning on one of his wide receivers to make a move other than the one they made. But Bud Brown was wide open, but there was not a Patriot near it.
There's not a Patriot near it. Any way you look at it, it's really a horrendous pass by Eason. There's a defender just waiting on the ball. Had his receiver even broken in that direction, Bud Brown was going to intercept the pass or at least break it up. Very poor choice on Eason's part.
Or break the receiver up.
Bud Brown on a 26-yard return brings it back to the 41-yard line. Now all of a sudden Miami has good field position. A lot of emotion building up to this game. So much on the line. Dan Marino looks it over. Play action by Marino. Rifles one deep, and this one will be picked off. Raymond Claiborne. Claiborne picks it off, brings it back to the 19-yard line, and 2 quick turnovers. The intended receiver was Mark Duper.
Well, it was interesting because Mark Duper got double coverage. He was not open. And at the same time, Mark Clayton was running a deep cross pattern. He was open.
There was pressure on Marino right at the last second, and he just rifles this. He's looking right. There he looks right now. Quickly, he looks back, sees Duper. He also sees a New England Patriot right in his face. Tried to whip it deep, threw it short, and Claiborne was there.
And that Patriot that was in his face was Andre Tippett, a man who came into this weekend leading the NFL in sacks 14 and a half.
At the 19-yard line. No score, 9:57 remaining in the first quarter. James found a little something over the right side, runs into Doug Betters over there, and he'll get about 3 out of that. And there is Raymond Claiborne, been around for quite a while. First-round pick back in '77. That was his 26th career interception.
Hey, Joe, like us, his wife had a little girl in October also, Lindsay Marie.
All right. And you know, Raymond's one of the 3 guys on this New England team that are really tired of losing here. Steve Nelson and Julius Adams. They've been here for all of those defeats. Nearly all of them. Anyway, all but 2.
James got 4 out to the 22. It's 2nd down and 6. And here's Tony Collins. Fumbles the football. The ball is loose. And a Dolphin has it. Bud Brown, who had the interception a short while ago, covers it for the Dolphins. 3 quick turnovers.
It's a beautiful play. It's a little trap coming over here to the left side. A little underhand off. He picked up the trap, made a real nice cut back over the middle. And a good play by Bob Rudzinski. Ever on the ball.
The Dolphins get it right back. They're at their own 40-yard line. We'll be back in the Orange Bowl in just a moment.
Ball. The Patriots rushed for 330 yards, the most ever by a team on Monday night.
103 yards that night for Grogan. Became the only Patriots quarterback to rush for 100 yards in a game. He, of course, was injured 3 weeks ago against the Jets. broke a bone in his leg and also injured his knee. To set this in perspective once again, the Miami Dolphins are 10-4 in the AFC East. So too are the New England Patriots. A win by the Dolphins tonight, and they will not clinch the divisional title. They would have to beat Buffalo right here in the Orange Bowl next week. But the Patriots with a win tonight, they will clinch the AFC East. First down and 10. The Dolphins inside the 40-yard line of the New England Patriots. Tony Nathan looks back inside. Gets hit by Larry McGrew, the inside linebacker, after a gain of about a yard. It'll be second down and 9. Tony Nathan, a very versatile offensive back for the Miami Dolphins, probably doesn't get the credit he should get. He is once again this season over 1,000 yards combined in rushing and receiving. Last week, 10 receptions against Green Bay. Always there when you need it done. Doesn't cough the football up. Just a steady, hard worker, Tony Nathan. They mark it at the 37, so it's second down and 8 for the Dolphins. 8:34 remaining here in the first quarter. No score. They're all in the pattern. And Marino fires to Dan Johnson. Johnson comes down with it near the 28-yard line. First down yardage. First down Miami. Johnson playing with a very sore hamstring. Only worked one day this past week. And Joe, he had everyone in this pattern.
Everyone in the pattern. It was a zone coverage that time. Dan Johnson, being the smart receiver that he is, just simply found a dead spot. And I'm pretty impressed with his hands. That ball was a high, hard pass, and Dan was all hands on the catch.
The first down at the 28-yard line of New England. Nat Moore in the lineup now, split wide to Marino's left. Marino fires, and Moore is there. And splits a pair of New England defenders down near the 10-yard line. Marion finally made the stop. But this is what can happen all night if you do not get pressure on Dan Marino. And it's hard to pressure him when he's throwing that slant in. There's not much you can do about it.
Oh, he has such a quick release, too. And it's been stated so many times. He has the best pass-protecting line in the league. Dan himself has only been sacked 15 times this year. And true, Dan will throw the ball away. But those quick slanting patterns, you're not going to get to Marino.
Duper splits to the left. Mark Clayton goes out right. Marino likes to throw timing patterns to his wide receivers down here. He gets a one-on-one situation. He just puts it up for him. Woody Bennett out of the backfield. Roland James up there quickly to put the coverage on Bennett.
And Marino once again had a little pressure applied to him by Andre Tippett. Keep an eye on this guy, number 56. A lot of people haven't heard much about him until the All-Star game last year. He had something like 18.5 sacks from his linebacking position last year, and that's almost unheard of.
He's ended tonight with 14.5 sacks. Leonard Marshall of the Giants has 14.5 after yesterday. Richard Dent of the Bears has 15. So Tippett will be looking to retake the lead for sacks. Second down and 10. Nathan to the 6-yard line. Gain of about 4 yards. It'll be third down and 6. Nelson and Don Blackman in there on the stop. Steve Nelson, he's a fiery one. He was thrown out of last week's game against Indianapolis.
I remember playing against Steve when he was a rookie. He was with the New England Patriots, and I was with the Jets. And I mean, you talk about a fiery player out on that football field. He was awesome. Well, I've had the chance to know him over the last 10 or 12 years. He's a fine man off the field. On the field, don't get close to him.
And that's so true about so many linebackers. Third and 6. Marino, a lot of time. And with all that time, he was finally able to find the tight end. Joe Rose. His 4th touchdown. These tight ends of the Dolphins, they don't catch a lot of balls individually, but Hardy ended tonight, had 33. Johnson had 12. Joe Rose had 18. But when you give a quarterback this much time, and particularly Marino, you're dead. Clayton was there. Duper was actually open also. The forecast tonight was for scattered showers, and we are getting one right at the moment. So the Dolphins open the scoring here in the Orange Bowl. Good hands by Don Strock, scooping that ball up to get it down as Revez splits the uprights. And the Dolphins lead 7-0, and the rain is coming down here in the Orange Bowl at Miami.
Most people know you can only buy a...
into the night, Marino had been tied with Dan Fouts. He now has the lead with 28 touchdown passes this season. Of course, last year in that phenomenal year, 48 touchdown passes, shattering the NFL record. Also passed for over 64% and over 5,000 yards. What a great year. Steven Stowering is back. Stowering from the 17-yard line. Big opening. And Stowering taken out of bounds near the 32-yard line. Davenport made the stop there for Miami. Rain continuing to fall here in the Orange Bowl. It was slippery on the opening kickoff, so it's going to get much more slippery. New England down 7-0, 5:57 remaining here in the first quarter. They mark it just inside the 33-yard line. And he's upended after a pickup of about 6 yards out close to the 38-yard line. It'll be second down and 3. The Dolphins and the Patriots. The Patriots have not won here since 1966. They've lost 17 in a row. A win tonight, and they win the AFC Eastern Division. For Miami, they need to win tonight and then win right here next week against Buffalo to be assured of an Eastern Division title. Second down and 3. Easton is back. Great catch out in the flat by Collins, the leading receiver for the Patriots, but he's short of the first down up near the 39-yard line. It'll be third down and just about 3 as Hugh Green had moved out there from his right linebacking position to make the stop.
Hugh Green couldn't have played that defensively any better. He was right in the middle, and he jumped on Collins there at the right time to stop that pass. O.J.?
Well, I'm a little surprised by New England's not taking advantage of the center of the field. Jackie Shipp was replaced with Mark Brown. And if I was going to throw the ball, I'd throw to my back over the middle against those two inside young backers and not against Hugh Green.
From the shotgun. Easton with a lot of time. Wide open is the wide receiver. That is Stephon Stowering. Stowering out of bounds at the 21-yard line with the New England first down. Stephon Stowering, who was a college quarterback at McNeese State. Take a look at him. He just split what appeared to be a zone over there. That's McNeil. He's the nickelback. Obviously not a zone, as McNeil let him get by at the line of scrimmage and then tried to run him down, and he couldn't do it.
Yeah, that's the worst thing you can do. If you're trying to bump a guy at the line of scrimmage, you got to bump him well, because Stephon Stowering is a 13-7 high hurdler, so he's got the speed to go deep.
First down, New England. Miami's 21-yard line. Fryer in motion. Easton again with a lot of time. And this is Collins. And Collins inside the 15-yard line. Twists down around the 13-yard line. Gain of 8. Jackie Shipp, who started tonight's game, replacing Mark Brown, an inside linebacker, because Mark Brown's ankle would not let him go, made the stop.
Jackie Shipp is from Oklahoma. He's a high draft choice last year. He's in his second year. If he has a weakness playing, he doesn't play the pass too well. Of course, in that Big 8 conference, they're running the ball all the time.
That was Stowering's longest reception of the year. Second down, a long 2. James works over the left side. Close to a first down. He had to get to the 11. And I believe he's just short of it. James has had a tremendous year, over 1,000 yards. Also had 26 receptions, had one 90-yard one for a touchdown. Of course, he was 2 years with the Federals of the USFL. Was the Federals' first pick in '83. The Patriots' 7th-round pick. He joined the Patriots last year, and towards the end of the year started to show what he could really do. He had injury problems in both of his 2 years with the USFL, and now he's over 1,000 yards for the Pats this season. Third down and 1. James stayed on his feet, got outside of Brudzinski.
Well, James showed us a little something there. A lot of people may not have seen him play much this year, but not only is he a smart, hard, instinctive runner inside, the guy has the speed to get outside. He runs a 4.5 40.
And he saw that first down marker, got away from Beaucamper, sprinted right to the marker and gets the first down.
Debbie Adams Police reports a gate 7B's.
Can you imagine playing against him and Eric Dickerson down at SMU?
Oh, they were a pair, weren't they? James had over 3,700 career yards at SMU as Easton on first down puts it up. Fryer, beautiful. Beautiful timing. Easton to Fryer, touchdown. Paul Langford sprinting with Fryer, but it was absolutely perfectly timed out by Easton and Fryer.
Well, they had the ball on the left hash mark that time and had so much football field to work with to the right side. Fryer just ran a sprint pattern, and because of the angle, Langford couldn't keep up with him. Beautifully thrown pass. He just runs a little fade pattern, uses the football field out here. Langford's in the chase position from the get-go and just simply can't keep up with him.
This play in every team's repertoire really is. Anytime you get man-for-man coverage down there close, you see it almost on every occasion. Tony Franklin to tie it up. Easton places it down, and we have a tied football game. 3:01 remaining here in the first quarter. And the man with the big play was Stephen Starring. Patriots on the scoreboard. The game tied at 7. And Easton very calm, very cool, Joe.
Yeah, you know, that's the question for me again tonight is this man going to be able to handle the kind of pressure he's confronted with? Certainly in the first series when he threw that interception, it didn't look like it, but he's looked a lot better in his last series.
Franklin puts it up. Lorenzo Hampton at the 4-yard line. And Hampton had to get away from the wedge that had been set up at midfield, and he's taken out of bounds up close to the 20-yard line. I want to remind you, live from Virginia Beach, Virginia, except on the West Coast, Saturday on ABC's Wide World of Sports, America's Olympic boxing medalists continue to battle in the pro ranks. Mark Breland, Tyrell Biggs, and Evander Holyfield, all undefeated, will fight live except on the West Coast. The exciting action begins Saturday at a special time, 4 o'clock Eastern and Pacific, 3 o'clock Central. Breland's record 7-0 with 4 KOs. Biggs' pro record 6-0. Holyfield's pro record 7-0. He has 4 KOs. And Lyle Blackwood is the injured Miami Dolphin. Lyle Blackwood, a veteran out of Texas Christian, being attended by the medical staff of the Dolphins.
When you start something...
Way Lyle Blackwood walked off the field unassisted. He appeared to be just shaken up. He was in the middle of that wedge, and that's a good place to get really shaken.
Yeah, that's no place for a man 34 to be in the middle of a wedge.
There are the brothers Blackwood. The Dolphins have a first down and 10. The ball at the 20-yard line. Bennett and Hampton, the setbacks. Bennett 34, Hampton 27, the rookie first-round draft pick out of Florida. This is Hampton. Ooh, and he is hit from behind hard by Don Blackman, who is having really a great year for New England, but you don't hear that much about Blackman because of the play of Andre Tippett. Tippett, of course, used much like Lawrence Taylor by New England. They move him all around, and he has incredible athletic skill. But Don Blackman just quietly is having a great year of his own. A loss on the play of 1. It'll be second down and 11. Nathan back in the backfield now for the Dolphins. Marino. A great effort by Marino to get the ball to Duper under pressure, and Duper does not handle the ball, and you can see the rain continuing to fall. That ball has to be slippery.
Yeah, it was a pretty well thrown pass. New England that time moved their left defensive end all the way to the other side and put old Andre Tippett down in the three-point stance, and they tried to get to Marino with a 4-man rush, but Dan still read the defense. He threw it to the right spot, and old Duke just couldn't hold on to it.
Third down and 11. Clayton is flipped right. Cooper goes left along with Matt Moore. And Tony Nathan, the dangerous receiver in the backfield. Marino, again with a lot of time, gets the ball upfield and gets it to Nat Moore, who's having a great year for the Dolphins. You hear so much about Duper and Clayton, but for Nat Moore, that's his 47th reception of the season, and it was a key one as he gets the Dolphins from deep in their own territory.
Well, you know, whenever New England Miami go to 3 wide receivers, Marino is going to be looking for Nat Moore. Majority of the time, he's going to have a safety trying to cover him one-on-one instead of a cornerback. So he's the man that should get open.
First down and 10. Marino and Moore get it out to the 33-yard line. Woody Bennett. Bennett breaks it back against the grain. He'll get 5 out of it. It'll be second down and 5. Friday night, special time, 8 o'clock Eastern time. Denver and Seattle. Denver needs to win on Friday night to retain any hope of a wild card spot. If Denver loses on Friday, all 3 AFC East teams, the Jets, the Dolphins, and the Patriots, are assured of playoff spots. To make the playoffs as a wild card, Denver must win on Friday, and one of 2 other events must happen. Either the Jets lose to Cleveland Sunday, or tonight's loser loses again on Sunday. Lots of implications involving the AFC candidates. Denver and Seattle on Friday night. Second down and 5. Marino. Clayton. There was bumping between Ronnie Lippett. Clayton had let up a little bit on Marino, and Marino looked deep, and he unleashed one that traveled about 45 or 50 yards in the air.
And both of them kind of misjudged the ball. Again, we mentioned the wind earlier. Not a lot of wind right now, but the ball wasn't a good release. Actually, it slipped out of Dan's hand, but Clayton should have caught the pass. It hits him in both hands right here. You can see our defender, Ronnie Lippett, just jumping a hair early, and the ball hits both hands right here. Boy, I know Mark would like to have that one over again.
29 seconds remaining in the first quarter. We are tied at 7, third down and 5 for Miami. They have the ball at their own 38-yard line. Tony Nathan, single setback. Marino from the shotgun. And off the fingertips of Tony Nathan. He tried to sneak out in the flat. Took a little delay like he was going to stay in and block, and then he tried to sneak it out in the flat, and Don Blackman was right with him.
Well, one thing we're seeing is the fact that Marino's had 2 of his worst percentage-wise games against this New England team, and it's obvious the reason is because New England is an excellent man-to-man coverage team. They got the linebackers who stay with the backs and the tight ends, and the cornerbacks who can stay with those wide receivers.
Well, they're still going to have to get pressure on Dan to be able to stop the passing attack.
Irving Fryer, he'll give you a thrill. Second to Louis Lips, and the AFC returning punts into tonight. But again, he had that 85-yarder against Buffalo, a 77-yarder against the Colts. Both for touchdowns earlier this year. Roby, the line drives it to the 9-yard line. And Fryer doing his thing once again out close to the 30-yard line before he's tripped up by Bud Brown. 53-yard effort by Roby, a low punt, however, that Fryer was able to bring back 20 yards.
I think the weather had a lot to do with Fryer possibly not breaking that run, because normally he would have made a sharp cut upfield, but once he got to the far side of the field, he had to slow down. He appeared to be worrying about his footing before he turned upfield.
Well, that punt return unit for New England, they do a great job with Fryer. That's twice now they've had a good picket line set up for him, and he has almost popped it all the way. First and 10 New England, their own 29-yard line. Eason back. Rifles his shot. It's complete to Stanley Morgan. And the veteran from Tennessee comes down at the 49-yard line as we run out of time here in the first quarter. So much on the line. So much excitement here at the Orange Bowl in Miami. We'll be back with second quarter action in just a moment. Sports Exclusive is being brought to you by Chevrolet, who invite you to live the style, performance, and fun of Chevrolet in '86. Frank Gifford, along with Joe Namath and O.J. Simpson, watching the New England Patriots and the Miami Dolphins. And over the years, the New England Patriots have suffered dearly here in the Orange Bowl. 17 consecutive games they have lost. They did win here in Florida, the state of Florida, in a game that was played in 1969 up at Tampa. But the last time they won here in the Orange Bowl was 1966. And if they can win tonight, they will be the AFC Eastern Division champions. We begin the second quarter. We're tied at 7. The Patriots have a first and 10 there at the Dolphins' 49-yard line. Play action by Eason. That is wide open and trying to get it deep, trying to get it to Starring. Incomplete. And again, Starring goes down on what appears to be a very slippery field.
And again, having handled a wet ball many, many times, I I know a quarterback just is not going to pass the football as accurately as he would with a dry football. That last play, he was open. Starring was open. There wasn't a man around him for 5 yards, 7 yards. And Tony just couldn't get the ball to him. It had to slip out of his hand. 2nd and 10. Eason back once again. Fires a shot into Cedric Jones, or rather Tony Collins. Collins made a diving effort and ruled incomplete. Let's take a look at the stats from the first quarter. New England had a couple of big plays. One of them to Starring to set up their first touchdown. They're removing the ball well on the ground, and they all of a sudden have gotten away from it. I agree, Frank. Well, the only reason I could figure that out is that Miami expects them to run the football, so they're playing their linebackers a little tighter on the defensive line, so there should be more room downfield for the passing game.
And, of course, now the Patriots are looking at 3rd and 10. Eason from the shotgun. Flag is down, and whistles are blown.
New England's entire offensive line appeared to have a rolling start.
Well, they had to pick someone, so they picked out John Hanna. The entire line was moving. There's Big John. 8 Pro Bowls for this man, now in his 13th year. And still about as good as they come. New England is backed up near their own 46-yard line as we look at Hall of Fame receiver Raymond Berry, who came into the world of professional football when Don Shula was playing for the Baltimore Colts back in '54. Later, when Don Shula became the head coach in 1963, was a player for Don Shula. A close relationship between the two. 3rd down and 15. James is in the flat, and he holds on and slips at the 45-yard line. He goes down short of the first down. Paul Langford was out there defensively for Miami. But we will see the punting unit once again. Camarillo comes on, averaging a little over 43 yards on his punts. A 33.7 net. Vigorito drops for the Miami Dolphins. There's a look at Tommy Vigorito. Missed all of last year with a bad knee. Was activated only a few weeks ago. Looking to hang it high and get the coverage. And he almost got the bounce. But hustling down there, Greg Hawthorne could not quite get to it. It was almost a bounce that New England could have killed inside the 5. It's the touchback, however. The Dolphins ball at their own 20. Weeks ago, they were deafening here in the Orange Bowl. Maybe they're still recovering from that Bear game. Now they're on their feet. And the Dolphins have a 1st down and 10 at their own 20-yard line. Moreno could be changing it up. Works inside to Nathan. And Nathan close to a 1st down out at the 30-yard line. Andre Tippett is there. He's all over the football field. They'll mark it inside the 30 at the 29, so it'll be a gain of 9, 2nd down and 1.
I'm a little surprised to see the Miami Dolphins running the ball so much on 1st down. They didn't have much success early, but they're sticking with it, and this was a good gainer. It's a good possibility the way Marino was calling the signals that time. He saw a hole in that defense and audibilized to the run.
2nd down and a little less than a yard for the 1st down. Bennett. And Bennett has the 1st down. He's out over the 35-yard line. Tripped up there by Claiborne, former New York Jet. He was a free agent in '81. They've been drafting running backs ever since he got here, and they still haven't got him out of the backfield. Raymond Claiborne, he has really done a job out on that corner. Ronnie Lippett over in the other corner has struggled. He, of course, was the man who replaced Mike Haynes when he went to the Raiders. But the defense has gradually emerged as one of the strong defenses in the NFL, this New England Patriot defense. Marino back on 1st down. Again, a lot of time, but this time he just has to throw it away. All receivers were covered. Clayton had been picked up and was well covered by Raymond Claiborne.
And, you know, that's one of the things we keep pointing to the fact that Marino's only been sacked 15 times. Right there was obvious. Dan will throw that ball away more than most quarterbacks around the league. He knows he's not a good scrambler, so he'll very rarely look to run around with the football back there. Throw it away and say, all right, I'll come back on 2nd and 10 or 3rd and 6 rather than 2nd, 17, or 18.
You know, Joe, the thing that has amazed me about him is his ability to recognize when he's got to throw it away. There's a great sense about that. To be the 4th consecutive year the Dolphins have led the league in fewest sacks. 2nd down and 10 for Marino. Drills one in. It's complete to Duper. Duper at midfield for a Dolphin first down. Lippett was trying to stay with him. Let's pick up Duper again. Lippett on the outside. Duper gave him a little move like he was going to take it upfield. Broke it square off, and you can see the slippery field once again. Lippett slipping and sliding, and he could not get back to Duper. And in the first game, November the 3rd, it was the man you saw a moment ago, Mark Duper, who was unavailable. That hairline fracture that he had on the leg that kept him out much of the season. New England, of course, the winners in that game, 17-13. 1st and 10 at midfield for Miami. Oh, boy. And a great effort by Nathan. A great effort to keep that ball out of the hands of Don Blackman. I think Marino was trying to throw it away, and it just got underthrown on him.
I don't know what he was looking at that time. There were 2 defenders there. Dan had plenty of protection, couldn't find a receiver, and I don't know why he threw the ball. Maybe he was trying to throw it away, but this should have been picked off. Dan's backing away a little bit too fast as he's throwing the football.
Look at Nathan, though, Joe. They had a Pro Bowl player for unsung heroes. He would have to be in #1 in my book. He just does everything for the Dolphins, and he does it all right.
And you know he has a career average of 4.8 yards per rush. That's pretty remarkable in itself.
It sure is. 2nd down and 10. Inside. That's Carter. Joe Carter, who has not seen much action this year. That was his 2nd attempt thus far of the season. Had a couple of big games for the Dolphins a year ago. 4th round draft pick last year. And he just was not able to get back into the lineup, or the lineup that Don Shula wanted to have in there surrounding Marino.
Well, Joe, you spoke of Tony Nathan averaging 4.8 yards a carry. Joe Carter has 5. It just tells you, without Marino, if they were forced to run the football, Miami could have a 1,000-yard runner easily.
3rd down and 3. The Dolphins inside the 43-yard line of the Patriots. Marino from the shotgun. Drills one deep downfield. Nobody holds on to a football better than Nat Moore. He knew he was going to get powdered, and he did, by Fred Marion. A flag is down. The Dolphins indicating that it's going to work against New England, and it does. Coach Don.
Number 55, defense, retry.
Blackman was holding defensively for New England. The penalty declined. And let's take a look at a wide shot of that secondary. Marino was looking deep. He was looking for Duper, top of your screen, had to come back underneath, fired it to Nat Moore. Moore knew he was going to get hit, held onto the football, and I recall that shot he took a year ago by the Jets when he was absolutely helicoptered and still managed to hold on to the football, and a key play in that game. 1st and 10 Miami, 23-yard line of New England. Joe Carter once again, a big opening. And taken from behind. McGrew with a fine stop to hold Carter to a gain of about 3 yards. Now they mark it at about the 17-yard line, so give him 5. It'll be 2nd down and 5. And we're going to pause 5 seconds and allow our stations to identify themselves.
This is WABC-TV, Channel 7 in New York.
The clock is moving with less than 10 minutes remaining in the first half. The Miami Dolphins and New England Patriots are tied at 7 in the Orange Bowl, a damp Orange Bowl here in Miami. New England, a win tonight, and they are the AFC Eastern Division champions. The Dolphins would need to win tonight and next week to assure them the Eastern Division. Marino goes down. Andre Tippett gets his 15th and a half sack. He is now the leader in the NFL once again in sacks.
New England did an excellent job on defense. They had both Carter and Nathan in the game. I think he wanted to go to one of his backs. He figured if they blitz, one of the guys should be open, but they jumped on both of those backs coming out of the backfield, and Andre Tippett comes in and gets his 15th sack.
Yeah, and the reason he did was Ronnie Lee, the right tackle, and Steve Clark, the right guard, forgot who they were supposed to block. Neither one of them got out there on Tippett, and I promise you one of them was assigned to him.
There was an 8-yard loss. It'll be 3rd down and 14 as Marino quickly sets up in the shotgun. Matt Moore, top of your screen. And Marino trying to time it out to Joe Rose, the tight end, who's complaining bitterly that he was held by Ronnie Lippett. Well, he might have had a valid complaint. But it falls on deaf ears, and we're going to see Reves come into the lineup. Rod Reves, rookie 7th round pick out of Tennessee, is 19 of 24. His long field goal of the season, 47 yards, but at Tennessee he put one through the uprights from 60 yards out.
New England defense is tough. You got to give them credit for stopping the Dolphins in this drive.
Big year thus far for Reves. 100 points into the night. Brock gets it down. And Reves unties it. We'll be back in a moment. Remember, special time, 8 o'clock Eastern time. Denver, of course, needs to win on Friday night to retain any hope of a wild card spot. To make the playoffs as a wild card, Denver must win on Friday, and one or two other events must happen later. Either the Jets lose to Cleveland Sunday, or tonight's loser loses again on Sunday. Long shot out there for Danny Reeves and his troops. Stephen Starring is deep. Quad Reves kicks off for Miami. Starring. No, he'll stay in the end zone. New England's ball at the 20-yard line, and we will leave Seattle. We'll go to Los Angeles, where we'll watch the Rams and the Raiders. Both teams, of course, have already clinched their divisional titles. The Raiders, however, may need a win to clinch the home field privilege throughout the AFC playoffs. Now, if the Dolphins win tonight, they win against Buffalo next week, and the Raiders should lose to the Rams, well, the Dolphins will be insured of home field privileges all the way through the playoffs. The Rams, by the way, may need a win to avoid opening the playoffs on the road, depending upon the 49er Dallas game. 1st and 10, New England. This is the one we're interested in the moment. Craig James. Very busy feet, Craig James. Just keeps pumping, churning, and looking. A very heady runner. He goes to a 3-yard pickup. It'll be 2nd down and 7.
Talking about great runners, you know, you think about Dickinson and Marcus Allen. It was just 2 weeks ago we were here and we saw Walter Payton set a league record for 9 straight 100-yard games. Do you know if Marcus Allen runs for 100 yards next Monday, he would have tied Walter Payton's record for 9 straight 100-yard games?
And the Jets stopped Walter this week.
2nd down and 7. Tony Collins. The ball comes loose. Paul Langford put the hit on Collins, but the fumble is out of bounds, and New England will retain possession. Langford, who has filled in over the past couple of years for an often injured Don McNeil, has turned into quite a cornerback. I think the defensive people with the Dolphins, or Don Shula, would like to have McNeil in there, but first it's a knee, then an Achilles, then another knee, and right now McNeil is back semi-healthy and being used as a nickelback, and Langford stays on at the cornerback. 3rd down and 7, and the 12th man, the crowd here in the Orange Bowl, gets into it. Batted away, or was his arm hit? Tony Eason covers his own football. He started to throw the ball downfield, changed his mind, came out of his hands, and he was able to make the recovery at the 14-yard line. So that brings out Camarillo once again. Rich Camarillo, and Tommy Vigorito drops back for the Dolphins, and the Dolphins should get good field position with 7:30 and the clock moving remaining here in the first half.
Dolphins had an interesting defense the last time. 2 down linemen and 5 linebackers. 4 of the linebackers rushed.
A low snap. Camarillo fields it and then hangs one up high. Vigorito will have time at his 43-yard line. and it's Figueredo to midfield, hit there by Johnny Rembert. So the Dolphins have great field position. They're at midfield. We'll be back in just a moment. Is being dedicated by the Miami Dolphins to the son of Nick Bonacani, the all-pro player and a member of that 72 undefeated Dolphin team that went 17-0. Mark, of course, playing for Citadel earlier this year, suffered a serious spinal cord injury. He's in nearby Jackson Hospital, but funds are being raised here tonight by the NFL alumni. They are selling T-shirts, and funds are being taken at the gate as people have come in tonight to fund the University of Miami project for paralysis. And Nick Bonacani has declared war on paralysis, and it's beginning in the name of his son, Mark. And we wish him well, and we wish Mark well. On 1st and 10, the Dolphins at midfield. Tony Nathan. Tippett in there first on the hit.
Well, they got the ball out of Tony Nathan's hand, but Mark Duper was right there. The ball looked as if it popped right into his hand.
Take a look at it. You see it from the reverse angle. Not a good view a moment ago from the opposite side of the field. And here is Nathan carrying it a little bit loose. Tippett just stuck an arm in there, took it away. The ball went right into Duper's hands. And it's also first down yardage. So the Dolphins got one that bounces their way.
First down,
Miami, 1st and 10, New England's 40-yard line. Joe Carter, number 23, in there with Woody Bennett, the setback for the Dolphins. This is Carter. Carter inside the 25 and out of bounds at the 21 as Fred Marion gave him a ride, but it's another Miami first down. And Miami surprisingly strong tonight running the football.
Well, the key block on that play, believe it or not, was number 89, Nat Moore. Nat Moore lined up outside. You'll see him coming into the screen. He'll hit number 50. That's Nat Moore. You just saw him. He got a great crackback block. Gave Carter the room to run. Carter's quite an explosive runner. Reminds me a little of Mercury Morris.
Yeah, and he can catch the ball, too, coming out of the backfield. 19-yard pickup. 31 yards thus far for Carter. 1st and 10, the Dolphins. They're at the 21-yard line of New England. Carter again. And he carries to the 15 before he's hit by Marion once again. A gain of 6. It'll be 2nd down and 4.
I tell you, they're doing a job up front blocking, and I guess it's a testimony to John Sandusky, the job he's done with this team, a league low, 16 sacks now after the night. The job they're doing blocking with the line problems that he's had with injuries.
And we would like to wish all our best and offer our sympathies to the family of John Sandusky, his wife, Ruth, dying suddenly last night here in the Miami area. John is not on the sidelines as he ordinarily would be, of course. He ordinarily stands by Don Shula. 2nd down and 5, Dolphins. And again, Marino has to throw one away.
Yeah. You know, another reason this running game the Dolphins have tonight is working is because of play selection. This game still has a lot to do with strategy. We pointed out earlier, why run a draw play when you haven't thrown a forward pass yet? It didn't work. Coach Shula knows that this New England defense is going to be playing pass most of the time, and he's made some beautiful calls in the running game, and I think that's why they work. New England's been playing pass, and the Dolphins have crossed them up.
3rd down and 5. Marino brings them up. He'll work from the shotgun. Nathan again. A dangerous receiver out of the backfield. The tight end now is Joe Rose. Fine receiver. And, of course, Duper, Moore, and Clayton. Marino fires a shot. It's complete. And Matt Moore is having a big night as Moore will get a first down on the 10-yard line right in front of Ernest Gibson.
Nat Moore, again, Coach Shula says the bigger the game, the better this man plays. He likens him to Charlie Joyner. He says his awareness on the football field is so good, similar to Charlie Joyner's. He knows where he's going. He knows how to get the first down yardage. He'll get just a yard beyond the first down marker and make the first down. And he's also the leader of this receiving corps. Mark Duper, Mark Clayton, Tommy Figueredo. This man right here, Nat Moore, is their leader.
He gets the big tough one. The first down receiver. He now has 51 on the season. That's his best since 1980. On first down, Woody Bennett. And Bennett fumbles outside, tries to reach into the end zone, doesn't get there. It was Claiborne who took Bennett out of bounds. He's down close to the 1-yard line.
Boy, they're doing a job. John Giesler had a tough block. His block, he had to block Don Blackman, an outside linebacker. You have to not only block him, you have to turn him to the inside, and that outside linebacker lined up outside of him. Well, he made the block, and they allowed the runner to get outside 9 yards down to the 1.
Giesler is one of those offensive linemen that has been wounded all season. He's playing on sheer guts tonight. He has a bad knee, he has a sore ankle, he has a couple of broken bones in his hand. Number 79, John Giesler, left tackle for the Dolphins. Davenport is in. They usually go with him, but this time, yes, that is Davenport. They like to use him down close. This time they hold him short of the end zone. Into tonight, inside the 5-yard line, Davenport has had 10 attempts and 8 touchdowns. Dolphin fans thought he had it this time.
Well, 8 out of 11 is not bad. I got a feeling he should get the opportunity to make it 9 out of 12.
6th-round draft pick out of Louisville. The rookie Ron Davenport. I remember 3 years ago, and they took another player out of Louisville named Mark Clayton. Got him in the 8th round. 3rd down. Davenport, touchdown Miami, and they take the lead. Davenport, and where do they go? Right over the left side behind Foster and Giesler. Well, you know he's coming. There's not a whole lot you can do about it when your line is firing off. And Davenport giving the Dolphins the lead once again.
Well, I know their right defensive end, Julius Adams, is the leader of their defense. However, he's also the oldest lineman in the NFL at 37, and his age may be taking a toll tonight. It looks like they're running the football right at Julius' side. Rebays now for the conversion. Strock nails it down. Rebays gets it through. And the Dolphins take a 17-7 lead. Friday night, they're going to be up in the Kingdome in Seattle. The Denver Broncos making Custer's last stand, if you will, against the Seattle Seahawks. Seahawks will be very loose. They are out of it. But Denver, a very important game for them. It's the only possible hope that they have. That is a victory in Seattle, trying to stay alive and wait to find out what's going to happen on Sunday.
What's interesting is when this season began, you would have thought 9 games would have been an excellent shot of being one of the wild card teams. And you look at Denver, there's a chance that they can win 11 games and still not be one of the wild card teams.
Just one of those years when the AFC East had New England. They had Miami, they had the Jets. And, of course, the AFC West had the Raiders. You know, this song has a familiar ring to it. Did this not come out of Houston? Houston Oilers, you were number 1.
Well, I guess they figured that was so long ago that no one remembers, so Miami was to use.
Oh, we remember. Miami was there in a great game. In 1978, Miami played Houston when they broke that song out. Big night for Bob Greasy, big night for Earl Campbell, and Houston won it. I would call that definite copyright infringement. Rebays bangs it. Starring from the 1-yard line. And Starring out of bounds. Up near the 27-yard line, Lyle Blackwood was in on that play defensively for the Miami Dolphins. You're down 17-7. Your basic game is a running game. What do you do, Joe?
I think they're going to have to stick with the running game some. There's still plenty of time left in this football game, and really Miami hasn't proven they can stop the running game yet. I just think New England has been fouled up a little bit with their play selections. They have to go back with what works best for them on first down and not try to throw the football as often as they have been on first down.
In their previous win over the Dolphins November the 3rd, they ran for 203 yards. On 1st and 10, Easton is back. Goes underneath, and Craig James took his eyes off that football, looking downfield before it got there. Hugh Green was right with him. There's Nick Bonacani. Now, of course, a very successful practicing attorney. And no one really knows the pain and the anguish that he has been going through over the past few months. And we certainly wish him the best. We wish his son Mark the best. Quadriplegic after that accident earlier this year playing football for Citadel. But he's not sitting around feeling sorry for himself. He's doing something about it. He has an ongoing battle against paralysis. Eason back again. He is leveled by Charles. The nose tackle, Mike Charles, who gets an inordinate amount of sacks from that position. That's his 6th of the season. Third-year man out of Syracuse, who was injured a year ago, had a very bad knee, had actually taken over as defensive right end for the Dolphins when he suffered that knee injury. He's right on the center. Watch him. Good move, beating Guy Morris. Then he gets away from Wooten, and he just levels Eason back near the 16-yard line. Third down and 20. Crowd chanting defense. Eason almost leveled again. Gets away from the safety. And fires a shot. Yes, it's complete.
Brilliant play by Tony Eason.
To Pryor. Are they going to give it to him? No.
No.
But it was a great effort.
That was a good effort by Eason, starting with the catch of the snap. First of all, that's the second low snap that he's had to contend with, and made a nice catch. He keeps his presence about him here. This is the one thing that worried the Dolphins. He's not as predictable back in the pocket as Grogan. But on the other hand, last year, he set a National Football League record by being sacked 59 times. Oh, so close, but out of bounds.
Ooh.
Yes, sir.
They were busy complaining, all the Patriots, that Pryor had been inbounds. They do not get it. Camarillo is on the punt. Figueredo again at the 40-yard line of the Dolphins, and the Dolphins should again have it back in good field position. Camarillo with a fine punt. Hangs it up there. Figueredo at the 37. And Figueredo back out near the 48-yard line of the Dolphins. We have 2:14 remaining in the first half. 46-yard punt by Camarillo and a 9-yard return. Both teams have 3 timeouts remaining. And Dan Marino, who has been sacked once tonight, but on most occasions he's had plenty of time to throw the football. Interesting piece coming up at halftime about where Monday Night Football travels around the world. We think you'll enjoy that. Halftime highlights. A further look at the standings with 1 game remaining here in the 85 NFL season. So stick around. First and 10 Miami. They have marked it just inside the Dolphins' 48-yard line. Nathan, draw play. Works to the 49-yard line. He'll get close to 3 yards out of that. We'll call it second down and 7 as we will tick off down to the 2-minute warning. So much on the line tonight between New England and the Miami Dolphins. And we'll be back with the final 2 minutes of the first half in a moment. 2 minutes remaining in the first half. Frank Gifford along with O.J. Simpson, Joe Namath. Watching a very unusual football game. There's been some dynamite hitting. We've had several turnovers. The New England Patriots seemingly doing everything right. Things are just not quite clicking for them, however. And the Dolphins have a 17-7 lead. And they also have a second down and 7. They're at New England's 49-yard line. There is Ray Berry. Over 600 receptions, nearly 10,000 yards, 68 career touchdowns. I remember 12 of them in 1958 against the Giants, the first sudden death game. He caught 12 passes from Johnny Unitas that day for 178 yards, and they beat us in overtime. Second down and 7. Marino. Got to Nat Moore. Pump faked it when Moore wasn't quite open. Still had the time and the presence to get the ball to Moore for another Dolphin first down inside the 40-yard line of New England.
11 yards.
I tell you, that's 52 receptions for Nat Moore. His best he's ever had was 52 receptions, and he went to the Pro Bowl that year. Shows how differently this game is played today.
First and 10. 39-yard line. Marino. And almost coming down with it, Nat Moore. Juggled it down the sidelines, and he couldn't handle it. Oh, he wanted that bat. He's having a tremendous first half.
Then you imagine 52 receptions would get you into the Pro Bowl just 5-6 years ago. And today, you're just the third receiver on your team. Look at that great adjustment to the ball. Just couldn't hold on to it.
Marino, by the way, has 102 yards thus far here in the first half. He came into tonight leading 191 yards for his second consecutive 4,000-yard-plus season. Now, Fouts is the only other NFL player that has had a 4,000-yard season consecutively. Marino looking for it tonight, and he should get it in the second half. Carter, and Joe Carter spins down close to the 35-yard line, a gain of almost 4. It'll be 3rd down and 6, and the Dolphins will use one of their timeouts. They still have 2 remaining. And Marino will move over. You see Don Shula, who always has Don Strock standing close by. Don Strock, one of the finer backup quarterbacks. That's Don Strock with the baseball cap on. Strock also calls a lot of plays. We might also touch on another interesting thing that happened here today. David Shula revealed that he had indeed been contacted by Norman Brayman, the owner of the Eagles, who also announced today that they had fired Marion Campbell. Campbell and the Eagles 6-9 this year, but David Shula had a impromptu press conference and said there had been nothing concrete made. They had agreed to get back together once again. I wonder if he told you to take a lap, you would take a lap, or would you want to pick him up and burp him?
That'd be something, especially if you're a guy like Julius Adams, a guy who's 37 in the league, and your coach is, 11 years younger than you are.
This guy's 26 years old. He had a remarkable collegiate career up at Dartmouth with Jeff Kemp, the backup quarterback out with the Rams. They broke all kinds of records up there. And for Marion Campbell, the old swamp fox, he'll turn up somewhere. There's a lot of football savvy remaining in that man. 3rd down and 7 for the Dolphins. 1:15 remaining here in the first half. Dolphins leading the Patriots 17-7. Marino again with a lot of time. Fires it complete. Gets it to Duper. And Duper has first down yardage in front of Raymond Claiborne. They had given Claiborne the unenviable assignment of covering him man for man. And you have just got to lay off Mark Duper. He has that quick speed. He doesn't have the blazing speed of Mark Clayton. Well, he does too, for crying out loud. They're both just outrageously fast on the outside. But you just have to give them the room when you are single coveraging. Joe Carter stays in the setback.
Then when you give him the room, Marino will throw that quick slant pass on you and hit you underneath.
They work to Carter underneath, and Carter is hit behind the line of scrimmage. First man there knows his tackle, Lester Williams. Clock ticking away inside 1 minute. Dolphins are comfortable, however. They have 2 timeouts. 2nd down and 11. Marino finally had to unload it. He was really hit by Garen Ferris. He was really hit right in the back just as he released the ball.
And that is a very good example of Dan getting rid of the ball to avoid the loss. Had he held it, he'd have been sacked at the 40-yard line, which would have taken him out of field goal position and possible touchdown position.
Garen Ferris, he's an interesting case. He's a rookie this year. They say he is slow. He runs over 5 seconds for the 40-yard dash, but he has 9 sacks. 9 sacks for a rookie, and in the beginning of the season, he was sharing that position with Ken Sims, so that's quite impressive.
Ken Sims, of course, gone with a broken fibula, and now Veras taking up the slack. Veras, a 2nd-round draft pick out of Stanford. It's 3rd down and 11 for the Dolphins. They have 42 seconds. Marino, the ball is loose, and it's still loose, and New England's going to get it back.
Andre Tippett
knocked it out of there. Tippett came all the way from behind Marino. Marino, I don't think even saw him. And he knocks it loose, and Veras comes up with the recovery. Reverse angle, you see it. Not a bad block by Ronnie Lee on Tippett. Took him outside, then Marino kind of drifted out to the right. And Tippett, heads-up play, strips the ball. And Veras was there for the recovery. Now for New England, they have 33 seconds. They have 3 timeouts remaining. They have a 1st and 10, the ball at their own 34-yard line. And they want some points. Eason back in the shotgun. Eason looking deep. Down with the ball is Morgan. And more than that, he goes out of bounds near the 40-yard line, stopping the clock with 26 seconds. Fine pass, Eason to Stanley Morgan. What a career he's had. Went over 7,000 yards last week for his career. As we look at it again, lots of time for Eason.
Yes, Stanley just runs a little corner pattern, falls right in between two defenders there in the hole. Perfectly thrown pass.
Ball is marked inside the 39-yard line of the Dolphins. First down and 10. 26 seconds remaining. Eason looking for Fryer, and it'll be picked off. Glenn Blackwood goes up, comes down with it at the 5-yard line. Fryer really had no shot at that. Overthrown. He was open, but it would have to have been a very well-thrown football.
Well, again, this is the biggest game Neeson's had in his young career as a professional, and he's going to have to play hard for him to win this game. So far, he's not really been on his mark that much. This interception and the one earlier he had in the game are really two poorly thrown passes.
The third Patriot turnover. 19 seconds now remaining in the half. The Dolphins have the football near their own 10-yard line.
You know, I'd like to think that the rain may have had something to do with that last pass, but it was such a tight spiral, I don't think it did.
Remind you again of what's on the line. The Dolphins can't win the Eastern Division with a victory tonight. To assure that, they would have to win against Buffalo right here next week. But New England is well aware that if they can win here tonight, they are going to win the AFC East outright, and they have not won that since 1978. But then again, they have not won a football game here in the Orange Bowl since 1966. That's the end of the first half. The Dolphins over the Patriots, 17-7. A lot more football to come your way after this from our stations.
This ABC Sports exclusive is being brought to you by Miller Beer. Miller, made the American way since 1855. By Pontiac, America's road car company. Pontiac, we build excitement. And by the U.S. Army, a place to be all you can be.
Back in the Orange Bowl in Miami. We're set to go. The Miami Dolphins will kick off to the New England Patriots. Reminding you once again what's on the line for the Patriots, a victory tonight. And they win in the AFC East. They, again, have not won here in the Orange Bowl since 1966. The Dolphins need a win tonight and a win next week against Buffalo here in the Orange Bowl to lock up the AFC East. Set to go here in the second half. This is Stephen Starring for the Patriots out to the 26-yard line. It'll be first down and 10. Dolphins, Dan Marino in the first half, 11 of 23, 110 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. And for the New England Patriots, Tony Eason, 7 of 13, 113 yards. He had the 1 touchdown. He had the 2 interceptions.
Well, New England had some tough luck in the first half on first down. They underthrew a wide open Stephen Starring, and of course the running back Craig James dropped 1 pass on first down. They have to do better on first down if they're going to win this game.
They bring out the run formation, and they immediately hand off to Craig James on a little counter play right. They sent Collins left and brought James back right, and James will get good yardage out of it. Give him 7. It'll be second down and a long 3 as Mike Charles, the nose tackle, who has played a fine football game for the Dolphins, pursued that play, made the stop from behind. It'll be second down and 3. Tony Eason looks it over from the same formation. They open the second half. A strong formation left, and this is James. He's hit right at the 35-yard line, held short of the first down by Mike Charles. It'll be third and short yardage for New England. This is what I think they wanted to do, O.J., when they came out to begin the football game. Wanted to run the football. They beat Miami 17-13, November the 3rd. The last game the Dolphins lost, and they ran for 203 yards in that game.
And most of those yards was over the middle, and I noticed even on that run, it was designed to go off tackle. I think Craig James was just a little indecisive. If he cuts back over the middle, I think he's going to get positive yards all night.
Tatupu is in there for New England, as is Weathers. This is Robert Weathers, and Weathers has the first down and much more, and he almost broke it big. Out to the 48-yard line. It'll be first down, New England. Vinny Testaverde, an outstanding quarterback at the University of Miami. Of course, he'll be taking the Hurricanes into the Sugar Bowl. Game will be bringing you New Year's night. Miami rated number 2 in the AP poll. They still have a shot at the national championship. Should Penn State get upended. On first down, Craig James. Again, a bit indecisive. He gets to the 47-yard line. Look back to the inside once again, O.J. Gets about 3 out of it.
Yeah, Frank, you know, he got there a little late. Once again, I think if he was a little indecisive, the hole wasn't there. I think if he makes up his mind when the hole's not there, I'm not going to get outside. Outside is Hugh Green. Outside is Bob Brzezinski. Inside is Jay Brophy and Jackie Strip playing linebacker. So it's not much decision there.
Yeah, that time.
Yeah, go ahead, Joe.
Bob Brzezinski that time did cut it down. Had he cut back earlier, he would have gotten better yardage.
Second down, it's a long 7 for the Patriots. Mix up in the backfield. Collins winds up with it. All by himself, however, out on the left side. And Jay Brophy will drop Collins for a loss. There was a collision in the backfield between James and Collins. And let's take a look at it from the end zone. And this hurts.
Yes, it does. Especially they had something happening on the other side. You saw both of the linemen got out there clean, and if he would have been closer to his lineman, I think he could have been off to the races.
Loss of about 4, so it'll be third down and 11. That's Starring and Fryer, top of your screen, the 2 wide receivers. Eason from the shotgun. And Hunt takes it once, then tried to get it into Starring late. It's incomplete, and the punting unit will come on for New England, and the Dolphin defense has forced the punt here in the early going of the second half.
I'm telling you, this is typical of the Dolphins. You know, they really haven't stopped this team. This team has stopped themselves. They had the chances to get the big positive yards. I played against Miami 9 years. We never beat them here, and every time we went home, we said we should have won the game. We blew it. We should have won the game.
Yeah, they're a finesse-type defense. They don't overpower you. They bend a bit, but they don't break.
Figueredo is back for the Dolphins. Rich Camarillo puts it up. It goes out to the left side and is taken there by Lyle Blackwood. He made the fair catch, and the Dolphins will have the football back just inside their own 25-yard line. Short punt by Camarillo, 33 yards. Needs 80 yards for his second consecutive 4,000-plus season. The only other player to do that in the history of the NFL, Dan Fouts. Marino has thrown the 1 touchdown pass, and he leads the NFL with touchdown passes. He was tied coming into tonight's game with Dan Fouts at 27. He's thrown 1 tonight for 28. More importantly, the Dolphins would like to win tonight. They'd like to win next week over Buffalo, and they would dearly like the Raiders to lose to the Rams a week from tonight in a game that will bring you from Los Angeles on the 23rd. And then they would be assured of the playoff being here in the Orange Bowl up to the Super Bowl. First down and 10. Tony Nathan is the single setback for the Dolphins. And this will be Nathan. He drops the ball, and it's loose. And Blackman has it. Tony Nathan never had control of that ball. Blackman was right there, reading the run play, getting ready to play the run, and the ball bounced right into his hands. Tony Nathan twice now has given up the football. Very uncharacteristic of this young man. Let's look again. Simple little toss right in his hands. He was looking ahead to the blocking up front, right into the hands of Don Blackman goes the ball. And New England with a big break. They trail 17-7 here in the third quarter. They have a first down at the 21-yard line of Miami. James, Collins, the setback for New England. Craig James. There was an opening. He popped through it and was hit by Bud Brown, but he moves inside the 15-yard line. He'll get about 6 yards out of that. It'll be second down and 4 for New England. James, by the way, has been known to throw the football. He's thrown it a couple times this season. He's completed both of them, and they have both been for touchdowns. James now on the night, 34 tough yards on 10 carries. 2nd and 4. That's Fryer in motion. James again. Got a good block from Tony Collins. Turned right back in the middle and runs into big Mike Charles and is held short of the first down near the 12-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and 2. Mike Charles playing that nose tackle spot, vacated by Bob Baumauer, a Pro Bowler for many years. Went to the Pro Bowl last year, did Bob Baumauer. Surgery, however, in the offseason to correct a chronic knee problem has kept Bob Baumauer out of the lineup, and Charles is doing a fine job. James on a counter. James with good running. That was a good swarming defense, and James just on his own with that little stutter step, O.J. It doesn't look all that effective, but it seems to get it done.
Well, he understands running the football. He seems to be a very heads-up runner. This is my first time I've had an opportunity to watch him play for any length of time, and he's obviously just a heads-up runner, and he has a lot of confidence in his ability. Many backs at that time would have panicked, put their head down, and maybe not have gotten the first down. He has enough confidence in his ability to do his stutter step and still get the first down.
And again, he had another fine block from Tony Collins. His first down, goal to goal for New England. James again. Again, Collins with a good block. And this time, James in the arms of Bud Brown is inside the 5-yard line. It'll be 2nd down, goal to go, and we're going to pause 5 seconds and allow our stations to identify themselves. Orange Bowl sold out. Wild anticipation for this game as it developed down through the final weeks of the season. New England needs a victory tonight to win the AFC Eastern Division crown. Miami needs one tonight, and next week against Buffalo to clinch the Eastern Division. Dolphins leading 17-7, but the Patriots are threatening. 2nd down, goal to go. They have it inside the 5-yard line of the Dolphins. James once again. And this time, good open field tackle. That was Glenn Blackwood. Led right by a blocker, came in low, and upset Greg James.
Well, O.J., we've been talking about James being a smart runner. It seems if it had used Ron Wooten as guard that time, he could have walked in the end zone.
Well, that's a classic case. You know, you see a runner, he gets outside, he sees the pursuit is not there, and he figures if he can make it to the end zone. Now, if he had a guy like Reggie McKenzie that time, he wouldn't have to wait for him. He had to wait for Ron Wooten on that play, and he should have. You know, he should have waited for him. He could have went inside of the block.
3rd down, goal to go at the 4-yard line. The Dolphin crowd is in it. Collins. Swarming Miami defense headed by Glenn Blackwood. He slowed him up first, and then they were all there.
2 plays, you saw 2 bad choices by good runners. The first play, as Joe pointed out, James should have waited for his block. On that play, I think Tony Collins, he had one chance, and that is to turn up. This team hasn't gotten any yards getting outside today. All their yards have been inside of the tackles, and he should have gone upfield on that play.
Tony Franklin now on to bring the Patriots to within 7 points. It'll be a 22-yard attempt. Franklin having a good year. 20 of 25. Eason is the holder. But in the upright is Tony Franklin. The Dolphins lead the Patriots with 7:02 remaining in the 3rd quarter by a touchdown. More than half of the 3rd quarter remaining here in the Orange Bowl. A misty, almost surrealistic night. Light refracting off the wet field. Rain has been falling on and off throughout the evening. The field is very slick. So much at stake here for both teams. Franklin to kick off for New England. Lorenzo Hampton is back for the Dolphins. And this time, Hampton will field it near the 7-yard line.
Oh, this could be fun.
Hampton, strong running out of the 25 to the 27-yard line. McSwain made the stop for the Patriots there. The New England defense has toughened here in the 2nd half. Marino, 110 yards on 11 completions of 23 attempts. As I mentioned early in the game, the New England defense rated 5th in the entire NFL, 7th against the rush, and that's where the Dolphins have been doing most of the damage tonight. They are 10th against the pass. First and 10 Miami. They're at their own 27-yard line. Joe Carter, who has worked well for the Dolphins tonight, is in there with Woody Bennett as a setback. Carter is number 23. Marino has Duper. And Duper with a good move against Claiborne. Claiborne thought he was going to step out of bounds. He spun back inside and got an additional 5 yards out of it. The first down is out over the 45-yard line.
That's the second time they threw that ball, Joe, and I'm not saying this because you're here, but it looked like Namath the Sour to me.
Hey, George, yeah. That was a perfectly timed pass, and this man Duper is such a tough guy to get hold of. Sensational little receiver. That, again, what do you do with Marino? You try to put pressure on him and hit you with the quick passes. You give him time to pick you apart downfield. He's so strong.
First down, Miami. Joe Carter. And he just explodes over the right side behind Steve Clark and Ronnie Lee. They'll get 7 out of it into New England territory near the 47-yard line. Tony Franklin's, of course, the barefooted kicker for New England.
Little red in that instep. A lot of people who never really seen a kicker, you think you kick the ball with the toe. Even field goal kickers, they kick it with their instep, not with the toes.
I wonder if they put any kind of toughener on there. We'll have to find out. There's a lot of them around now. Second down and 3. Marino in a crowd, but he fires a shot. And it was Clayton this time working in front of Lippett. Another first down for Miami. And that time Marino had New England Patriots all around him, but his line had not collapsed. They were still holding their blocks. He stepped right back into the pocket and fired it.
I tell you, if they gave points, 1 and 2 points on pass completions, that would have been 2 to the quarterback and 1 to the receiver. That was all Marino.
42% of his 43 career starts have been 300-yard games for Dan Marino or more. On first down, Joe Carter once again. Carter really popped by Steve Nelson, but nevertheless, he'll get 4 yards out of it. It'll bring up second down and 6. Friday, Denver will be at Seattle. Denver, of course, needing to win on Friday night to retain any hope of a wild card spot. And again, take note of that special time, 8 o'clock Eastern time. If Denver loses on Friday, all 3 AFC East teams, by the way, the Jets, the Dolphins, and the Patriots are assured of playoff spots. But to make the playoffs as a wild card, Denver must win on Friday, and one of 2 other events must happen. Either the Jets lose to Cleveland Sunday, or tonight's loser loses again on Sunday. Danny Reeves, John Elway, tough Denver defense. They're still alive. Second down and 6. Marino in trouble. Fires one out of bounds as Marino knew that Don Blackman was bearing down on him. Good coverage on Clayton downfield, and Marino had to throw it away.
I think Dan got fooled that time with the coverage. New England went to what we call a 2-deep zone and played 5 guys underneath, and Dan simply didn't have anyone open. Wisely threw the ball away.
Nat Moore comes back into the lineup. Final word from Don Shula, who calls most of the plays. He'll get assistance at times from Don Strock. Third down and 6. Miami is at the 32-yard line of New England. Again, Marino is hurried, tried to get it to Duper, and just beyond his outstretched fingertips. Decision time now, and Juan Revez will come out. Revez has hit from 44 yards tonight. His best thus far of the season is from 47 yards out.
Keep an eye on number 70, Art Plunkett. He's 6'7". He's in the middle of that Dolphin defense, and his job is to get his hands up.
50-yard attempt. Revez has hit from 60 when he was at the University of Tennessee. Looking good. And it is good. Surveys his best field goal of his young career, the rookie from Tennessee. He hits from 50 yards. Earlier, he hit from 44 yards. It's a 20-10 game. Reves is officially credited with the 49-yard field goal. And the Dolphins have a 20-10 lead over the Patriots with 4:16 remaining in the third quarter. Stephen Starring is deep now for New England. Very versatile football player out of McNeese State, where he was a quarterback for over 3,000 yards. Fine wide receiver for the Patriots. And this will be Starring from the 6-yard line. And Starring gets it out close to the 37-yard line. A moment, if we could. Saturday, the world of baseball lost one of its genuine heroes. Roger Maris succumbing to a long battle against cancer. Roger was quiet, unassuming, the consummate professional, and for whatever reasons, he perhaps was not recognized as one of the game's true legends, but he will be. I knew him from our days when we shared Yankee Stadium together, when I played with the Giants. Roger, of course, with the Yankees. All of us at ABC extend our deepest sympathies to all of the family of Roger Maris. First and 10, New England at their own 35-yard line. Eason throwing underneath the coverage. And this time Eason working to the tight end, Lynn Dawson. First time the Patriots have given their tight ends a call. Eric Ramsey has been a very effective receiver. Worked well last week against the Colts. Dawson got about 8 out of it, so it'll be second down and 2. The ball up near the 43-yard line. Tony Collins. And Collins will have a first down at midfield, finding an opening over the left side behind John Hanna and Ryan Holloway.
Joe, it seems that the Patriots, if they run up the middle, and when the Dolphin linebackers try to stop that, and the only way they can stop that is to come up to the line of scrimmage, then just start throwing balls, deep turn-ins over the middle.
That's where you want a quarterback, ideally, that can recognize what the defense is doing before the snap of the ball, hopefully to audibilize to the right play.
First and 10, New England. Eason, Fryer, and Fryer has it to the 35-yard line for a New England first down, right in front of Paul Langford. Fryer is one of those speedsters, and he is blazing fast. They clocked him 4.39 for the 40. He's had the great career at the University of Nebraska, and really is almost a rookie because he was injured so much of the time last year. But he is a threat every time he gets his hands on the football to take it all the way.
At times you'll watch Fryer and you think you're looking at Johnny Rogers all over again.
That's Fryer in motion. And James will work on the left side. Down close to the 32-yard line. Only a couple of yards out of that. Mike Charles again in on that stop and getting a lot of help from his friends. It'll be second down and 8. James and Dickerson, they were a pair at SMU. James himself had over 3,700 career yards, second only to Dickerson. The third all-time in the Southwest Conference behind Dickerson and Earl Campbell. Rain really coming down now. Almost a foggy situation here in the Orange Bowl. Second down and 8. The reverse is to Morgan. And it did not fool a soul, including Bob Brzezinski. Dolphins stringing it all the way out, and Bob Brzezinski made the stop at the line of scrimmage.
Well, they had two people, Tony Eason as well as Irving Fryer. They're the two guys that had to make the key block on that play. If they would have made their blocks, there would have been a little room to run in, but unfortunately, neither one made their block.
The only trouble is Tony Eason. Eason was being asked to block Doug Betters, who is 6'7" and 265 pounds.
Get low.
Get very really low.
Third down and 8. Here's the crowd once again. Eason. That's Greg Hawthorne. He's short of the first down. Former Steeler first-round draft pick. It was Alex Moyer, the rookie from Northwestern, who was out there defensively. Thorne just about a yard short. The game has been remarkably free of penalties. We have only had 2, both of them against New England.
Well, this is interesting. It appears they're going to go for it here.
17 seconds remaining here in the third quarter. 4th down and about a yard. They could be going with just a long count. We'll see a long count, looking for the offside. But it's Tatupu. He usually gets it, and Weathers, although Weathers carried it earlier on 3rd and short. Tatupu. He gets the first down. And the Patriots keep this drive alive down at the 23-yard line. That was the stadium just jumping up and down. There's a flag down, and there was movement against New England. And now it's back to the drawing board.
I think it's back to the field goal kicker now. This is a 5-yard penalty. Plus, he's going to have the wind at his back if they turn around. What wind there is right now. Doesn't really appear to be much.
That was movement by the tight end, Lynn Dawson. And that will negate a very important first down. It'll be 4th down and 6 when we come back to the Orange Bowl after this from our station.
Tuesday.
Kick the football with their bare foot. Now, this young man, Mr. Franklin, went out for his high school team back when he was a sophomore. He hit 3 out of 10 field goals from the 30-yard line. He got frustrated, took the shoe off, and he started making every one he tried. You see, when he was a young boy growing up, he didn't wear shoes that often. He always kicked the ball with his bare feet. Now he feels better doing it.
It'll be a 49-yard attempt. Eason is the holder. Greg Morris provides a snap, and Franklin will be trying to bring the Patriots to within a touchdown. And Franklin hits from 49 yards out where just a few moments ago Reve's hit for the Dolphins. So once again, we have a 7-point football game as we are in the opening minutes here in the 4th quarter from the Orange Bowl in Miami. Franklin is in his 2nd year with New England after 5 years with Philadelphia. As a rookie, they watched him kick a 59-yarder, 2nd best in NFL history against Dallas, so he can get it out there. Of course, Tom Dempsey still holds that record at 63 yards. That's one of those you begin to wonder if they will ever break. They're getting close, though.
Yep.
The Patriots keeping it close. They would love to win tonight. It's been 17 straight years or straight games that they have not been able to win here in the Orange Bowl. They won back in '66. Lyndon Johnson was president then. The war was dividing a nation. What did they say? Tony Eason was 5 years old. He doesn't care much about a jinx. He didn't even know about it.
That's right.
Joe Namath had good knees.
Had a lot of friends.
Still do. Where were you in '66, OJ?
I was at City College of San Francisco trying to get over.
Lorenzo Hampton is deep for Miami. Franklin puts it on its way. Carter has it. And Carter with some fine running out over the 30-yard line near the 32-yard line. I remind you, later tonight on Nightline, when does the president become a lame duck? Some say now, if Reagan can't save tax reform from defeat by his own party. That's tonight on Nightline, following your late local news. Hard-hitting football game, it has been. It's been semi-sloppy, I guess you could say. We've had our share of turnovers, 3 apiece. But a lot of it has been caused by some truly heavy hitting. So much on the line between the Dolphins and the Patriots. First down and 10, Miami from their own 32. And good running by Clark Nathan. He'll get 7 out of that. Dolphins have really been running the football well, and they're doing it against the 5th best defensive team in the National Football League through 14 games.
Well, they're doing it with not only good blocking up front, but more importantly, they're doing it with good play calling. I think they're just calling the right play at the right time, something that the Patriots, I would debate if they've done that this game.
Well, I wouldn't think so going all the way back to that draw, but then again, you know, if they make a good catch here, good pass there, it could be a different game.
Second down and 3. The Dolphins they'll try their own reverse. This is Mark Clayton. And Clayton turns the corner, picking up first down yardage out near the 49-yard line before he's stopped by Tippett.
I tell you one thing, it's fun watching Andre Tippett. He really got caught inside on that play. He recognized once he was too far inside that the reverse was coming his way, and he fought his way outside. He made the tackle. He may not have done his job because he was supposed to have containment on that play, but he still made the tackle, and could have been a longer game than that if Tippett wasn't there.
You know, he's the kind of player, O.J., that you look at the films during the week and you say, hey, look at the pursuit on this guy. We go left with it, and he's going to run it down, and you put the play in, and then you realize what a great athlete he is. He got caught inside and still got back out there. But the Dolphins get the first down. They're near their own 49-yard line. Marino rifles one downfield. Duper is there. Flag is down.
This game is for the championship, and I didn't see his arm come across his head. He did give him a little extra shot, but when you're playing for the championship in effect of a conference, he says the face call.
Face mask call. It's Ronnie Lippett. He's the defender against Duper. Got the arm around there.
Yep.
Well, he also swung it around there pretty severely, but he grabbed a hold of the face mask.
I tell you, on a play like that on the helmet, guy could have broke his arm.
I agree. I think the arm is in much more jeopardy than any part of the face. First and 10, Miami. They're at the 30-yard line of New England. It's Hampton and Bennett. Those are the setbacks for the Dolphins. They've been using a lot of people tonight. Hampton. And he is stacked up. Good play by the grand old man of this New England team. The oldest player in pro football today. That's Julius Adams. Or at least the oldest active player in terms of defensive lineman. Barris was also there.
Yeah, Big Julie did make that play. He came down hard from his right end position and made the first contact. Good defensive play by Julius.
Loss of about a yard. It'll be second down and 11. Clayton is going left. Duper splits right. The tight end in the lineup at the moment, number 87. That's Dan Johnson. Marino almost picked off. Tony Nathan, the intended receiver, as Steve Nelson got out there, got a hand on it. It would have been a good play, but it could have been an interception. Third down and 11.
I think Julius and Steve Nelson realize the importance of this defensive effort right now. They want to stop this Miami bunch. They smell championship. All they have to do is pull this game out. I'm sure they're trying to inspire the rest of that defensive unit.
It's interesting how those old pros come through in the end. I remember Too Tall Jones yesterday.
Batted that ball in the arms of Jeffcoat, and the Giants were threatening. Patriots trail by 7. They have a third down and 11. Matt Moore is there. Flag comes down. It was Ernest Gibson battling Nat Moore. Marino held it to the last possible second. He was really level after he released it. And Marino gets up limping. It was a stop and go on the part of Nat Moore. And there's Gibson. Not only getting into his face, not playing the ball. Unquestionably interference.
Well, Gibson was beat. I don't think he expected the ball to be underthrown. He was just trying to catch up. And when Nat slowed down, he ran it right into him.
Nat Moore made a great move, and Marino really helped him. Nat Moore came down about 12 yards, looked right back as if he anticipated the pass. He got a little pump fake from Marino, and then he turned on the speed and just left Gibson. Gibson tried to make up the yardage for the coverage and came up with the interference call. First down, goal to go. Will it be Davenport again? It usually is, number 30. Held short of the goal line with Ron Davenport. Davenport has 9 touchdowns on the year.
Well, now he's 9 of 13 inside the 5. Still a nice average. I think he'll get another shot, Joe.
Yeah, give it to him a couple more times here.
He's a big man, 6'2", 230-pounder. Runs tough down there.
Runs a 4.5 40.
Second down, goal to go. Davenport. Yes. Behind Ronnie Lee and Steve Clark over the right side. Oh, Miami stretches it out. Miami, of course, with a win tonight will not clinch the division, but they have Buffalo in town next week. They feel that if they can win tonight, and they're looking awfully good, win against Buffalo, and then if the Rams can beat the Raiders a week from tonight, and we'll bring you that game, and Miami will have clinched the home field privilege, if you will, right up to the Super Bowl, should they be able to travel that far in the playoffs. Remains for the conversion with 11:08 remaining in the game. The Dolphins have stretched the lead. 27-13. We'll be back in a moment. It's almost home for the holidays for the Denver Broncos. They are still alive, however. Something has to happen, though. They need help. They have to win their game Friday night, and either the Jets lose to Cleveland on Sunday, or tonight's loser loses again on Sunday. They're a little on thin ice at special time at 8 o'clock Eastern time. Revay's the kickoff. Stephen Starring is deep for New England. He takes it at the goal line. And Starring out over the 25-yard line, close to the 27. Don McNeil made the stop there for the Dolphins. A week from tonight, we'll be bringing you that Rams-Raider game from Anaheim, and no matter what's at stake there, that's going to be a thing to behold. Marcus Allen against Eric Dickerson, the city championship, if you will. Not a whole lot of love lost between those two ball clubs. First and 10, New England. Eason takes a little off it. He tries to go underneath the Tony Collins. It's incomplete as Eason has it behind him.
Well, New England has been killing themselves on first down. They've had the opportunity on 3 or 4 occasions tonight to get a positive play on first down, and it wasn't anything Miami did to prevent it. It was something that New England did to themselves.
That's right. A bad pass, a dropped ball. This is another example of good catch or a better pass that had a big gainer.
Second and 10, 27-yard line of New England. Running by Collins, a former 1,000-yard gainer back in 1983, whose running role has become a bit subordinated to that of Craig James. But Collins has made up for it, becoming a tremendous blocker. And he also came into tonight as the club's leading receiver. Let's look at it from the end zone. Good hole for Tony Collins, but he breaks it back, as any good runner will. They're always looking to bring it back across the middle. First and 10 at the 43-yard line. Eason looking to go deep. Good coverage by the Dolphins. Now he checks off, and he finds Derek Ramsey, and Ramsey will have a first down near the 37-yard line of the Dolphins. Dave Brophy was back defending for Miami. Tony Eason dearly wanted to get deep to Stanley Morgan. The Dolphins had him double covered deep. He had to move out of the pocket, but he was able to find Ramsey for the first down. Cedric Jones, top of your screen, number 83. Irving Fryer, number 80, split to the left, the wide receivers. Eason underthrows Jones. Jones had individual coverage out there by Paul Langford. You might just have joined us. Watching the New England Patriots and the Miami Dolphins at the moment. 9:33 remaining in the game. The Dolphins lead the Patriots 27-13 in a game in which New England knew when they came into the game that a victory would give them the AFC Eastern Division Championship. New England has not won here in the Orange Bowl. They have lost 17 straight. They haven't won since '66. The Dolphins need a win tonight, a win next week against Buffalo to assure themselves of the Eastern Division title. New England has the football. They're at the 37-yard line of the Dolphins. Second down and 10. A lot of pressure, and wide open is Tony Collins. Collins just ripped two tacklers down to about the 15-yard line. Dolphins were in one of their rare blitzes for the night. And New England was able to burn them.
Well, New England hasn't done the greatest job of getting the ball to Tony Collins and Greg James on passing situations, but I tell you what, I don't think you're going to find a finer pair of runners than these two guys, and I think on the offseason I'd try to work on ways to get the ball to them in open field situations like that.
New England, 1st and 10. They're just outside the 16-yard line of the Dolphins. And this is where the noise really gets deafening down here. Where the Dolphins drawn off, so often that's the case.
False start, 73.
Yes, the veteran John Hanna with a little movement. Dolphins picking up on it very quickly, coming off that entire right side. That changes the complexion considerably. A mental mistake cost 5 yards. His first down and 15.
This man right here mentioned Weed Eubank today about how Weed helped him so much in becoming a player and a coach. And Weed used to stress, don't make those mental mistakes out there.
1st and 15. Eason. Fine pass to Stanley Morgan. He takes it all the way down to the 5-yard line in the arms of Langford, and it should be another New England first down. Eason, under tremendous pressure there, was able to get the ball to Morgan, and Morgan had good coverage by Langford. Eason had to have it in just the perfect position, and he did.
Beautifully thrown pass, certainly in contrast to the one he threw out there to his hook man about 2 plays ago, the one he threw in the ground. I know that the dampness of the ball has to be affecting the quarterback's passing game.
Plenty of time for the Patriots.
Same pattern as
again, and flag goes down. Irving Fryer was the intended receiver. William Judson was back there. He's trying to say, I was playing the ball. You can't put those hands up in front of a receiver and wave them back and forth.
You have to look for the ball, too. And I'm afraid William never turned around to look for the football.
Well, evidently one of the officials thought he might have because they're discussing it.
Referee Dick Jorgensen.
Number 49, defense, in the end zone, first down on the 1-yard line.
Let's look at it again. William Judson covering Irving Fryer. Now, he cannot put those arms up, wave them back and forth, and screen Fryer away from the ball. And he most certainly did.
That's the same pattern they threw a touchdown earlier against Paul Langford. Fade away.
Weathers and Tutupu are the setbacks for New England. Tutupu. Mosi Tutupu. Touchdown for New England.
Certainly used his blockers well that time. He slowed up, then cut back.
Hey, this is a tough New England team. They are mentally tough as well as physically tough. They have been battling back throughout the entire night, and they keep coming back.
Sort of unusual seeing Mosi running outside like this. He was a great fullback at SC for a number of years, and he's the kind of guy you like to see blocking or running inside. Did a good job on that play.
Real spark plug for this New England team. He does a great job on the special teams. And, of course, with Collins and James doing most of the work offensively, doesn't get to see that much action. Franklin to bring the New England Patriots to within 7 once again. We have 7:37 remaining here in the 4th quarter. The Dolphins lead cut once again to 7 points. Way through a final quarter in a game in which New England, with a victory, could win the AFC Eastern Division, a title that they have not had since 1978. And also marked the first time since 1966 that they have been able to win here in the Orange Bowl. Earlier they did win in the state of Florida in 1969. This home game of the Miami Dolphins was played in Tampa. And New England won that game. Lorenzo Hampton is deep. Tony Franklin to kick off. Patriots once again to within 7 points. And this is where Miami is usually so tough. Joe Carter will bring it out. Carter still on his feet. Oh, ball is loose, and the Patriots have it. And they're indicating touchdown. It was McSwain who provided the hit. Cedric Jones came up with the football, and they're mobbing Jones in the end zone. Carter.
And for the mysterious missing mark.
Run out of it. Rod McSwain had a hold of him. Ripped it out of his arms. Let's look again. Here comes Carter. He gets right into the pile here. Runs into McSwain. McSwain stays with him. Gets the ball out of there. And Cedric Jones was right there to take it in. And we are a conversion away from a tied football game here in the Orange Bowl. And how quickly things turn around.
The rain is coming down much harder than it has at any other time in the game.
Franklin to tie it up. It is really raining now here in the Orange Bowl. We are tied at 27. There he is. Cedric Jones will get the football. Stripped loose there by McSwain, right into the arms of Jones. And the fourth-year speedster out of Duke provides the touchdown that ties this football game up. We'll be back in the Orange Bowl, which is stunned at the moment. Franklin to kick off for New England. Deep is Hampton and Joe Carter. It will be Lorenzo Hampton. Good running by Hampton. He's out over the 30-yard line to the 32. The rain is coming down. This is going to be a very wet football that Dan Marino is going to try to move. Final words from Don Shula.
Oh, boy.
It's been raining on and off all evening. A very wet football field, a very slippery field. Oftentimes, if it isn't too bad, rain will help a passing team. The receivers know their cuts. They know where they're going. And a good deliberate quarterback can make a lot out of it. Dolphins and the Patriots tied with 7:12 remaining in the game. Marino. Duper. Duper has a first down. He's near the 47-yard line. He was right in front of Ronnie Lippett, and Lippett was out there feeling all alone and blue once again. And when he is out there alone, he is going to give Duper a lot of room. He did. Duper broke it off at about 13 yards, gets the completion and the first down.
Well, I guess these guys have to figure from New England. If they're going to give Duper or Clayton anything, they're going to give him the most difficult pass in football to complete, and that's the deep out to the right, the deep out to the left. And yeah, he was wide open, all right, but that's the toughest pass they can make Dan throw. And no one throws it better than Dan Marino today. Powerful arms to zip it out there on 1st and 10. Woody Bennett. And Bennett hustles inside Patriot territory to the 47-yard line, a gain of 5. Larry McGrew made the stop.
Ben Thomas made an excellent job of getting a lot of penetration on that play. Unfortunately, he couldn't wrap his arms around the runner. Otherwise, we would have had a 2 or 3 yard loss.
2nd down and 5. Clayton goes left. Cooper is right. Dolphins very effective tonight running the football. Clayton. Simple pattern. Both outside receivers. Cooper and Clayton take it down about 8 yards. Angle it in. Both backs circle out of the backfield. Marino reads the defense and decides which outside receiver is going to have single coverage. That time it was Clayton. And boy, he reads it quickly, doesn't he, Joe?
Oh, he does. Coach Shula, again, sounds redundant, and it is, but Shula says right now Marino's playing better than he's ever played, and that's pretty darn awesome to me.
He's 7 yards away from another 4,000-yard season. On 1st and 10. Almost picked off. Going for the football on the outside was Lippett. The intended receiver was Woody Bennett.
What happens sometimes in this kind of a situation when it's wet, once a quarterback starts his throw and changes his mind, he doesn't get a good grip on the ball the second time around. Marino wanted to go downtown this last time, and when he came over here to the short receiver, the ball fluttered out of his hand and was nearly intercepted.
2nd down and 10. Marino looks it over again. He has Clayton right and Duper left. Tight end is Bruce Hardy. And Hardy hit at the 32-yard line, gets to the 31-yard line. He'll be short of the first down. It'll be third down and about 3. Fred Marion, fine free safety for New England, made the stop.
And it was a big stop, too. Bruce Hardy released inside and got underneath linebacker Steve Nelson, and it just turned into a foot race. Steve couldn't keep up with him, and if Fred Marion doesn't come up to make the tackle, that's a good 25, 30-yard gain.
Fred Marion is another one of these unknown, almost superstars for this New England defense. The guy had 7 interceptions, and he was AFC Defensive Player of the Month last month in November.
He also had 3 fumble recoveries, third down and 3 now, and there was movement, and I think it was the Dolphins' left side. This is Davenport. Marino, by the way, has gone over 4,000 yards unofficially.
I'll tell you what, they may decline this penalty.
Well, I think I would. I wouldn't give Marino another chance to throw it.
Dolphins, the toughest team in the NFL on third and long situations. They're just uncanny in the third and long situation. Options being given out to Steve Nelson. I'm sure we'll have a decline.
Number 34, offense, decoy.
Bennett was moving. That will be fourth down.
Lack of concentration, mental error.
Urbane comes onto the field. He is hit from 44 yards tonight. He is hit from 49 yards.
But he can have a possible championship riding on this kick.
Having a great year, this rookie from Tennessee. He's 21 of 26. Had his young career best earlier with a 49-yard effort. This will be from 48 yards. High snap. That usually means trouble, but not for Revenge. That was a great effort by Don Strock. That ball was snapped high by Larry Lee. Strock got it down perfectly. Unofficially, Revenge is given a 47-yard field goal, and this game is untied once again. Don't go away. Strock did a great job. He got this ball down quickly, and he got it down very accurately. 48-yard field goal. Strock was just as happy as Fuad Revenge. The Patriots now trail by 3 once again. 4:27 remaining in the game. We'll tell you one more time. A win by the New England Patriots, and they win the AFC Eastern Division. The Dolphins can't clinch it tonight, but if they win tonight, they win against Buffalo here in the Orange Bowl next week, then they will have clinched it, and then they will sit back and watch us Monday night, hoping that the Rams can knock off the Raiders, and they'll pick up the home field advantage. That's the scenario. But this one is far from over. Revenge to get it underway. Starring is deep once again for New England. This time he'll bring it out of the end zone. Starring never really had his feet under him. He slipped at about the 15-yard line, slipped again at the 20, and gets out to about the 23.
Well, it was at this time of the game, the last time these two teams played, Steve Grogan was the quarterback. He walked in the huddle and he told his players, hey, if we're going to be a championship team, we got to march down the field and score. They went 80 yards then to score. They had 76 yards to go now.
Grogan, of course, started 6 games. He won 6 of those games. He had to be relieved by Eason, who had been hurt earlier in the season against the Jets. The 1 game out of 9 that they have lost in the last 9 games they played. Here's Tony Collins. Collins running hard up to about the 29-yard line. He'll get 4 out of that. It'll be second down and 6. Jackie Shipp made the stop. Eason started the first 6 games when the Patriots opened the season. He was their starter, of course, last year when he threw 23 touchdown passes. But then he was injured against Buffalo. He missed 5 games. Grogan started all of those games, won all of those games. Eason has been back, and he's won the last 2 that he is quarterback. Second down and 6, the rain really pouring down. James doing what he does the best. Over the right side, just bulling ahead. He'll have a first down at the 35-yard line.
Well, we talked about decisions, Joe. One thing Miami knows is that New England is going to run the ball, and they're going to try to run the ball inside of the tackles. It's who's going to guess right. Miami's going to come up to stop that. Maybe New England will have a pass play on at that time.
And that's where Eason hopefully could audibilize.
Close to 3 minutes remaining. Collins broke a tackle in the backfield. Deep in the backfield was Hugh Green. He got away from Green and was able to get about 3 yards out of it. It'll be 2nd down and 7.
Well, if New England lines up in that eye, the way you stop them from running off tackle is you take those 2 outside backers and you bring them down the line as fast as they can to get them before they get to the line of scrimmage.
And few linebackers in the league do it any better than Hugh Green. He's so quick. James. Charles, the nose tackle with the stop. But James gets up to the 42-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and a long 2. And we're getting down to an area where it might be 2 downs.
2 minutes coming up. I really don't think they're going to give the ball to Marino again, unless they're stopped, obviously.
They will not get a play off before the 2-minute warning, and Eason has already moved over to the sideline. He'll be talking with Ray Berry. 2 minutes remaining. We'll be back in a moment. We have received the 2-minute warning. The Patriots have the football. They're at their own 43-yard line. They have a 3rd down and about 3, maybe a little less than 3. And we, I think, are in that area as Eason gets a final word from Ray Berry and quarterback Steve Grogan, who was injured 3 weeks ago. You can see Grogan to the right of Eason. He's on crutches. He has a broken bone in his leg and damage to the knee. But I think we are in an area where New England is not going to want to give the ball back to Marino on a 4th and short. So we are basically in a 4-down situation, I think, for New England.
I think they ought to try that option play that we watched San Diego run so efficiently against Pittsburgh a couple of weeks ago. I haven't seen that play stop yet.
Well, it's a little wet. I don't think they're going to try that one now.
Tony Collins, Craig James, those are setbacks. Collins 33, James 32. James. He's very close. This will be totally dependent upon where they mark the ball.
There's Barnett on the tackle.
He had to get just outside the 45-yard line. And Irving Fryer is indicating to the bench that he did not make it. About a half a yard short, or maybe a 1.5 feet short.
Couldn't see if he tripped or it appeared as if he had a little cutback there.
And New England wants timeout. They have a 4th down and about a foot. They want to talk it over. And Ray Berry has been in so many tense situations. Let's take a look, O.J., and see what did happen.
Well, we know the cutback has been there most of the day. There's a nice hole there. Here's the back. And as he cuts, he didn't really cut back cleanly. If he'd have cut back cleanly, it appeared as if he had a lot of running room. I think he was thinking about the 1st down, or maybe he slipped. We couldn't tell from that angle. He went down a little sooner than I thought he should have.
It didn't look like he came out of the cut cleanly.
Yes.
Meantime, during that last 2-minute warning, you would think that you'd have 2 plays called here if you didn't make the 1st down the first time, why they wouldn't know what to go on 3rd and a foot.
Well, with a championship and possibly the whole season on the line, I think I take my time on this one.
Yeah, that's a good reason. But meantime, if we could have thought it out the first time, we'd have an extra timeout left down the road here.
Well, that's why I always wanted to play with you, Joe.
Ray Berry has become one of the real popular football coaches New England has ever had. Don Shula, of course, he's Don Shula. A win tonight. He moves back into a tie with Tom Landry. He's the 2nd winningest coach in the history of this game, trailing only Papa Bear George Hallam. Ray Berry replaced Ron Meyer last October. Quiet, very efficient. Brought in a staff of his own assistants, and right now he's looking at a 4th down and about a foot. This will be the play he called. That's to Tupu, and he gets it easily over the left side, moving behind Brian Holloway. The New England Patriots with 1:43 and the clock moving, and 2 timeouts. We'll have a 1st down right near midfield.
Well, this is the way it should be coming down to the last 2 games of the season. Championship time. Tight game.
Unfortunately, the time they're going to have to throw the ball. They can't keep running it.
Sure, we have a very nervous Tony Franklin on the sideline. Fine shot. Fryer was the intended receiver. Langford made a great play. He reached right around Fryer and knocked the ball out of Fryer's hands. Langford playing awfully tight on Fryer, who has that great speed. Fryer with a look outside, knows where Langford is, goes up for the football, and look at that play. Brilliant play by Langford. That would have put New England within Tony Franklin field goal range. It's 2nd down and 10. Fryer is now split left. He's the one with the dynamite speed. Morgan, top of your screen. He has the better move. Collins, the leading receiver for the Patriots, inside the 35-yard line, at the 34-yard line. First down, New England.
Hey, we talking football now.
This is some football.
Yeah, Joe, this is where it should be. I think I'd be looking for these backs coming out of the backfield. These linebackers cannot stay with backs like Tony Collins and Greg James.
There's Franklin, I mentioned a moment ago. They are within his range right now. Good read by Eason on that. He had Morgan downfield working on Langford. All the receivers were in line of sight. He took Collins, and Collins got the first down inside the 35. Fryer in motion once again. Eason again looking for Collins. Almost intercepted. In and out of the arms of Glenn Blackwood.
That was not a smart play. Come on, Joe.
Oh, no, I agree. Where is he throwing the football? He had 3 defenders there.
Collins coming out of the backfield. He had attracted just about everyone.
Well, Tony Eason dodged a bullet that time, and so did the Patriots. That should have been interception right there. All right, he got it back. Get it done
That's
this time.
one that you will remember a long time if you're Glenn Blackwood, and should this game go against the Dolphins.
And they're still not in great field goal range. They're going to get another 8-9 yards.
2nd down and 10. The Dolphins holding on to a 3-point lead, 1:06 remaining. A lot of time for Eason. He overthrows it. This time it will be picked off. Glenn Blackwood had another opportunity. He took no chances. He hook slid out of the 25-yard line. The pass intended for Derek Ramsey, and the Dolphins players are going bananas. 56 seconds remaining. Eason is saying, how could I do it? He overthrew Derek Ramsey. 2 poorly thrown footballs by Eason. The first one should have been picked off by Blackwood. The last one was.
Oh, boy, you got safeties playing the middle. You need another 8 yards to assure the fact that you can tie the game. You throw the safest passes you can throw at this point, I would think, Joe.
Yeah. Oh, and he
had
really
him open. He just flat missed him.
Eason's 3rd interception of the night. And look at Blackwood. He's taking no chances of coughing that football up. Patriots have 2 timeouts.
Miami in the Orange Bowl.
Marino goes down on his knees. The timeout will be called by the Patriots. And it's a game that will be long remembered by Tony Eason, but it is far from over for the New England Patriots. We'll tell you about that in a moment. This ABC Sports exclusive has been brought to you by Buick and your Buick dealers. For comfort, innovation, and a real commitment to quality, it's today's Buick. And by Lowenbrow, brewed in the great beer-drinking countries of the world. This world calls for Lowenbrow, and by AT&T. In long-distance services, information systems, telephones, and computers, AT&T is the right choice. And by General Motors, the GM Odyssey. Science, not fiction. Well, it looks as though the Dolphins definitely are going to take over first place in the AFC East and can clinch the title with the win over Buffalo on Sunday, or if the Jets and the Patriots both lose on Sunday. The Patriots remain alive for a playoff spot. They'll clinch at least a wild card berth if Denver loses at Seattle on Friday, or if they defeat Cincinnati on Sunday. So, again, it remains in their hands, but it looks as though the division is rapidly disappearing. The divisional title that they wanted so desperately, and, of course, the game that they wanted to win here. And, of course, for the Denver Broncos, they need a win, most certainly on Friday night, to retain any hope of a wild card spot. To make the playoffs as a wild card, Denver must win on Friday and then look for help from other people. Either the Jets lose to Cleveland Sunday, or tonight's loser loses again on Sunday. And that would mean the Patriots losing to Cincinnati. Marino will drop on it one more time, and the Patriots will be able to stop it one more time. This telecast broadcast is presented by the authority of the National Football League. It's intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the National Football League is prohibited. And Don Shula and the Orange Bowl magic has worked once again. And for Tony Eason, there'll be many great days. A young man who came into the league the same year Dan Marino came into this league. But as you watch him move around out there, you realize he has the strong arm. He has the mentality. Joe spoke of it earlier. He's tough. He doesn't tighten up. He threw a couple of bad passes tonight. He threw several of them. And on the last occasion, Glenn Blackwood turned it around.
They'll go home like many teams have done since I've been in it. When I was playing, and they'll say, hey, we outplayed the Dolphins. It's a game we should have won, but we'll look at 3 or 4 mistakes that they made, and they say we blew the game. But you know what? That's been happening here in the Orange Bowl ever since Shula's been here.
And the other thing is, too, it's not all over for New England. They still have a shot at making the playoffs.
They got a tough one next week, Cincinnati. They can put points on the board.
That's the Cowboys. I'd admire those Cowboys, too. They lose that one to the Bears, 44-0. They give up 56 points to Cincinnati. They come back and play a hot Giants team, a tough Giants team. And granted, they had some other bizarre happenings down there at Texas Stadium, but they hung in there. They hung tough. They got the big plays, as Joe mentioned, from the veterans, the big play by Ed Jones when they needed it. Time remaining in the game. New England is out of timeouts. Marino will stay on his feet as long as he can, dancing around back there.
I'm not too sure that's the smart way to go and using the clock right now. They're out of timeout.
Ray Berry looking on, final seconds ticking away.
What they'll do is they're going to take a penalty here, and then they'll run a play, and the game will be over.
There'll be about 2 seconds remaining. They'll be able to snap the ball, and the game will be over. That's the 30-second clock. It'll tick down to 0. And there is now 1 second on the scoreboard clock. Marino should be able to back away from the center. If he didn't want to do anything else, he could run in the end zone and take a safety. And they would still win it. So the penalty assessed against the Dolphins. I know that hurts Don Shula. He does it from a strategic point of view. But this has been the least penalized team in pro football for many years. Now they're putting seconds back on the clock. They're going to go back to 3 seconds. That's the time that's actually remaining here in the game. So you might even be thinking that the Dolphins will back out of there and take a 2-point safety. They could do it comfortably. They had it happen down here once before. And Bob Greasy did it. I forget the exact circumstances. That's it. The Dolphins win a close one. 30-27 from the Patriots. And a well-played game by the New England Patriots. They were battling all the way back. Tony Eason on a tough night. 14 of 26, 217 yards, but the 3 interceptions, that did them in. Marino, 17 of 33, 192 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. He's over 4,000 yards in consecutive seasons. Once again, the final score, Miami 30, New England 27. Stay tuned for ABC News Nightline following your late local news. Most of you on the West Coast, stay tuned for Hardcastle and McCormick. Travel arrangements made through and a promotional fee paid by United Airlines. United is the only airline to serve all 50 states. Thanks for being with us. We'll see you Friday night. We'll be in Seattle. The Denver Broncos will also be there.